What is up, everybody? It is another beautiful Sunday morning, and you are listening to the Super Gamecast. I am Bronson Fiore, joined by the always awesome Aaron Reynolds.
Hi, hey, I'm gonna drink this coffee. I'm still waking up.
Yep. I'm in the boat with you. And then we have our wonderful Lucy Morningstar.
I'm going to drink my hot coffee as well.
Fucking delivery, goddamn.
I love my hot coffee so much, Lucy. It's great.
Right, it just warms the heart.
It's warm. You want warm coffee in a cold month. I don't know who would do otherwise.
Yeah. No idea.
As is Sunday tradition, I ordered coffee, and they messed up the order in a new way. I went to a new place, and they messed up the order in a new way. I asked for a hot mocha, and here we are. So
I don't even understand. It's fine.
Does it at
It's
least
stressful.
taste
Those jobs
good?
are stressful.
it does taste good.
Ah.
Like, it does taste good. So
You got that.
Like
Yeah.
I was saying, you know, they watch the podcast. They know you have a fireplace right behind you. You don't need hot coffee.
Oh man.
Just hang the coffee over the fireplace.
all you gotta do.
exactly. And that would be the voice of one of the original GameCraft people, Mr. Anthony Ta.
Hello, greetings everyone.
And
I just have room temperature water today.
Oh, okay.
Not cold, so that's good.
Anthony Ta just
Hydration is very important.
Anthony Ta just
Healthier.
being like prison rules. And then finally, hey, Mr. Duncan Crabtree, special guest.
That's me. My drink introduction is the good old classic addiction of Dr. Pepper.
What the
That's fair.
doctor ordered.
Yeah. It has doctor
My
in the
whole
name.
life.
It has doctor.
When was the
in
last
name.
time anyone had a Mr. Pibb?
Ooh, I like
I've
avoid
never
it like
had one.
plague.
Mr. Pibb.
I find it ontologically evil.
I
Okay.
just I haven't seen him. I haven't seen Mr. Pibb around, and I
Yeah, I haven't
don't
seen it in a long time.
normally get Mr. Pibb, and now I feel bad, and I want to try Mr. Pibb.
I've never met the man, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, it's a shame.
I mean,
like
he's
Dr. Pepper, though.
he's no doctor. He doesn't have a.
No, he's not. No
No.
degree. But see, I respect that.
Just
I
a
think,
mister.
You know, I think the elites in this country are fed up.
The working man.
I'm fed
Pibb.
up with the elites, and I'm done with these experts. I want a real person. I want
Yeah.
Mr. Pibb. Give me Mr. Pibb. Anyway.
All right, hey. All right. Well, we got a bunch of news to dive into, but before we get to the news this week, the Game Awards happened or are happening.
Yeah.
Oh God,
The
we're
nomin-
going right in. All right.
Oh, okay, all right.
It didn't happen,
I was
the
hoping
nominees
for
are
a
out.
little bit of racing, but all right, let's go in.
Woo,
Yep.
we are in.
Does.
The nominees have been revealed, so we're gonna do those and we're gonna vote on 'em.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
we're doing it live. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we do this live, and then we do our own awards that are significantly better, probably, because we actually focus on awards.
Are we working from the bottom up, or
We're going from best
Bottom up.
narrative onward, and then we'll double back
okay.
to
Oh,
direction.
we're not doing
Okay.
all of them.
Onward.
so
Okay.
we're
We're
not
ski-
starting game direction, or
Oh, actually, no, you're right. We should do best game direction and then go down the list.
yeah,
and then
because
double
game of the
back
year
to-
we'll just save that for last. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. So that way I know which one to pull up, so I can see it.
So we have best game direction, which their description is awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. The nominees
Which is
are
great in theory, but I'm blind. Where's my glasses?
but the nominees are Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor Refantasio.
Okay, so
Literally
the
list
first
of
thing,
game of the year people. Huh.
yeah, the key phrase I feel here is innovation in game direction and design.
Right.
That kind
Right.
of implies to me like, hey, we know that you love more of the same, but we're looking for something that moves game design and game direction forward.
Yeah, unique and
Is what I-
different.
Right.
And I would say that among the nominees here, Elden Ring actually stands out to me as not as innovative. It's more Elden Ring, you know?
Which is not a bad
Right.
thing.
It's not a bad
fantastic
thing,
Just
but
doesn't work for this category.
it's just not very different from what it was previously. Now, the only other game that I've played on this list, and therefore can have a valid opinion on, is Balatro, which I don't know any other game that is like Balatro. I mean, it's like, you know, it's a mash of just poker and roguelike. So it gets my vote between the two, the rest of which I cannot speak on.
I can speak for Metaphor, but I've only been about 2 or 3 hours in. It's the Persona take on the fantasy JRPG thing. I wouldn't say innovative. I mean, it is fantastic blend for sure. But I'm like, yeah, it's Persona, but with elves and magic and other crazy things happening.
Right.
I have played it.
Combat, dungeon traversal is similar. Yeah.
It's just that now the story is fantasy and about racism. So
it's appealing to me. I'm certainly planning on playing it. I just haven't yet.
I just started it this weekend and I put 6 hours into it and loved every minute of it. But
it's fantastic so far, yes.
But I've gotten to play everything on this list besides Erdtree. I've played just regular Elden Ring. Wukong I only got to do 2 hours because I played it through the PSN Plus trial. I think this is either Balatro or Wukong. Wukong is definitely a Souls-like, but its combat is a lot faster and, in my opinion, more interesting. Like it's almost like God of War, like the old ones, because you have a light attack, heavy attack, but like you move faster, which makes sense.
Heavy on the character action.
Yes, it is. It's heavier on the character action. Like it's not quite DMC or Bayonetta. Like I would say it is a middle ground between Soulsborne and character action. And man, that opening is hype as hell, especially because it gives you a taste of what you get later. And you have this ability. So the first spell you get makes it so they can't move for a couple of seconds. So you just like stun big enemies and just wail on them. And then you have another one that makes clones of you and shit. And also it's like, I know Journey to the West has been broached in video games, but not in the same like very direct way.
Right.
But Balatro is an entirely new idea, so I would kind of lean towards that unless I played a shit ton of Wukong and was like, never mind.
I'll say that Wukong seems interesting to me on the note that I find that the formula that Souls-likes came into was effectively a devolution of that character action of it, like a DMC type thing, into, and then a reevaluation into a more slow paced kind of action fighting, and to then reanalyze that and readopt stuff from character action and see if you can make something new that isn't the character action that Souls is coming from, but also isn't just what Souls is like. I find that really interesting.
It is. I also like just mechanically at points. It was a little bit of Nier almost, because like if you dodge at the last possible second, it leaves a clone of you behind that they'll attack. And I was just like, oh, that's like Nier or Bayonetta, but like this is still very much a Souls-like because I have limited healing, and holy shit, everything hits hard. So it's interesting, but I think Balatro is just a very unique idea, so I almost want to give it to it. I don't know. What does everyone think?
I've only played one game on this list, so I can't really speak to the others. I'm curious though, why not Astrobot?
Astrobot is
a really good continuation of Astrobot.
Yeah, and it's also like it's a really good 3D platformer, but it's a 3D platformer. It's a really good one.
And then Final Fantasy VII. How are you feeling about that?
Oh, I think that's the worst game on this list, and it does nothing to innovate. So,
damn. All right.
My vote's for Marvel's Avengers.
Speaking of being a
Off the
grandpa.
list.
All right,
Yeah,
so
I've only played one game on this list though.
at some point you have to just go off what we described. Degenerate gambling versus Monkey King.
I'm into
King
degenerate
is
gambling.
definitely-
Yeah, let's go with the gambling part. We're from Nevada. Most of us from Nevada, right?
I think
Yeah.
Let's do
Yeah.
that. Let's do that. Let's put some bias into this.
All right, Balatro, best game direction. All right, next category.
Sure.
And we are voting on this with the SGK Game Awards account, so
Yes.
our votes will be heard. One day
5
we'll.
minds come into one.
Yes.
We will scream it from the rooftops.
Yes. Also, Sleepy Bee has a dancing T-Rex in our chat. Thank you.
Hey.
So, all
Sleepy
right.
Bee is in fact a dancing T-Rex. I've seen this personally.
Oh shit! All right.
Mm.
All right. So, best narrative, we have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth, Metaphor Refantasio, Silent Hill 2, and Hellblade 2.
For outstanding storytelling and narrative development in the game. So the difficulty I see here with this category is you have to see enough of the narrative to make a good call on it. And I have
all
not
these
seen
games they're huge. They're so
Right.
long, all of them.
Except
I've
Hellblade.
only-
Hellblade is not long. Hellblade is short.
Right.
But I didn't even get very far into Hellblade either. But I think you get a good sense of it about a couple hours in.
Yeah, I mean, if you're
Metaphor is like a 60 to 80 hour game if you do some extras, and I'm only 2 hours into that one. The rest
so
I haven't played yet.
Same thing.
I finished Infinite Wealth, and if it weren't for the Animal Crossing mini game, I would have 100%ed Infinite Wealth. So
I'm certainly biased towards Infinite Wealth, given my long history of loving the Like a Dragon series, and it being the only thing I've booted up out of all of these games. Though Silent Hill 2 is Silent Hill 2.
yeah, but that's the problem. They did the Silent Hill 2 again.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've not played any of these, but if I was going to put a vote, I'm going to go with Hellblade 2 because the first game I absolutely fell in love with. I love the narrative, and
see.
Everything I've seen about this one, I kind of want to play.
I agree with. Well, it's on Game Pass for one, so you can go play it right now if you really want to.
Well, now I'm doing a podcast right now.
Right. So, so
You could lower your hands below the camera, and you can do lots of things that way.
Sure can.
I am definitely
What am I
looking at the
doing
podcast
behind
on my
the
screen
player?
right now.
Hand check, everyone. Hand check. All right, fantastic.
all right.
You just imagine a random hand check throughout. Next thing you know, I'm holding one of these.
I know,
So-
yeah.
I'm on my phone.
It's just like hand check a sword.
Yeah.
All right, so I have played all 5 of these. I have finished 3 of them. I think Silent Hill 2 is more of the same, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth makes a very good chunk of that story worse, in my opinion. Because they don't go far enough in either direction of being a faithful remake or just going with the bullshit they started in the first game. So I think it's like between, and like I think that this version of Hellblade made it a bit too cringy. So for me, it's between Infinite
Greatest
Wealth.
of sins.
What?
I said the greatest of sins being too cringy.
When you're dealing with
Unless you lean too hard into
Well,
it, and then you're great.
I played
yes.
a 45-hour RPG that was cringe about 2/3 or 3/4 of it. Yeah, it's one thing to be bland, but then when you throw cringe on top of the blandness,
Actually,
Now that
I
you say
do it.
I
Can't do
find
it.
cringe elevates the quality of something for me. I love cringe.
I do.
Yeah.
Problem is, you have to take
again. I've never played anything, but looking at that art, now that you bring up cringe, there's way too many hands on that person's face.
That's true.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
the problem.
as far as like
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yep. For me, from these fives, I want to go with Hellblade 2. So the reason because because a lot of these games is stuff you've seen. A lot of is stuff that's been explored a lot of times before. So with Metaphor, it's like, oh, it's Persona, but fantasy, and then Like a Dragon. Hey, if you love Like a Dragon, you'll like this new one. Seven Rebirth. Browser could probably explain that a lot better. Silent Hill 2 is based on the template of a previous Silent Hill, whereas like Hellblade 2 explores, I believe it's psychosis, mental illness, and the other things. And they do a lot of interesting little tricks to try and give you the perception of that isn't just being stated directly across. That said, though, I haven't gone through any of these 5 games enough.
So I've gotten about a third of the way through Hellblade, and I was like, I'm good. I do not find this interesting enough to keep going. I am enthralled by Metaphor's story so far. Like, it is fantastic in the first 6 hours. But I finished Infinite Wealth, and I loved its story. I thought it was great. I loved its side story. I thought it was, like... It continues a lot of the message from the first Like a Dragon, the Yakuza 7, but it adds on to it, and then it adds some additional concepts as well. So, like, I'm inclined to vote for Like a Dragon. I just
also adds one very important thing to the narrative that none of these things add except for Like a Dragon, and that is the plot relevance of VTubers.
That is true.
It's important.
So important.
It sounds like
I played Metaphor before this.
There's a demo. I want to play it.
That won't help me with this category, but you're right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My hat's in for Infinite Wealth.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go Infinite Wealth.
I'll let Bronson decide this one because I haven't gone far enough in any of these. So.
Frankly, if we're just going based off of the games that are here, it makes sense for Super Gamecraft to go the Yakuza route.
Also, for everybody watching, Black Friday sales are going on, so these game recommendations, you can buy them right now. A lot of them for good discounts. You can get Infinite Wealth for $30 on PS5, and it's a physical copy.
Yep.
That's on Amazon, I believe.
And then
maybe I should. We're not paid for these ads, by the way. No, just want to point out that if you're interested in playing the game, it does exist at a discount at
this is
retailers.
In the interest of the gamer. We don't have money, and we're gonna have less money as time goes on here. So let's get these deals out.
Cue Wii Shop music. If you're interested in playing our choice for this category, just know that Infinite Wealth is actually $25 on Amazon right now, and it's a physical copy.
Hell yeah.
And also,
I need one of those.
Also, hey, guess what? Steam sales also start in 3 days, so check those out for all of these. So yeah,
it is the season.
Infinite Wealth. We'll go with that one.
Right.
Next category. Best Art Direction for outstanding creative and/or technical achievement in artistic design and animation.
Well, the good thing about this one, maybe, is you can look at pictures and video of it.
Yeah.
To give you an idea of the art direction. Although, something that isn't really expressed in pictures or enough gameplay, sometimes they would use moving art UI to further enhance the art style, and I think that's one thing Metaphor does extremely well.
Yes, I agree with that.
It's like
100%.
you think like, oh, I love Persona art. Yeah, right. Now the whole UI is that art style, but you got like moving elements and yeah.
I'll say I have seen the art, luckily, for all these games. Including Neva, which I looked up the other day because it was nominated. I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. And I still have to give it to Shadow of the Erd Tree, in my opinion. Some of the moments in Erd Tree of walking into new regions and seeing those areas are mind-blowing for me. I think that the best part of Shadow of the Erd Tree is its art.
I mean, it was always what drew me to these games, even though I suck at them and don't like them. What always sucks me in is these Souls games have some of the greatest art in all of video games, and I have no doubt that continues with this.
My thing was
So
sorry, go ahead.
So the category description is for outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation.
Oh,
It's like if you were to knock on Metaphor just a little bit, it would be like, yeah, it's the same style we've seen from Persona, and the animation's about the same.
I mean, if
we're talking about technical,
and if we're talking about
I'm gonna vote for Astrobot.
I mean, I do like Astrobot a lot. It looks very clean and is charming and cute the entire time you play that fucking game. Like,
and unlike my Roomba, it didn't run away.
mm-hmm.
I think all of these are great. Like, I like looking at the gameplay of Neva made me want to play it because of the art. I think Wukong has. I think that Wukong kind of has the same thing that Elden Ring has. I think those two are very similar. I think Wukong's art is goddamn amazing. Some of those creature designs, like, holy shit. But it's obviously heavily inspired by Journey to the West, and the Chinese folklore that it draws everything from.
He's got amazing hair, so I mean, we got to give him that.
The hair tech is great. A+ hair tech.
That's true. Yep.
As somebody that knows hair very well,
that's not enough though, because hair tech isn't enough because Dragon Age Veilguard also has amazing hair tech.
I don't know. The more I look at Neva,
that is not innovation because Final Fantasy 13, Tress Effects, and Tomb Raider, The Witcher, hair works. Hair.
You know who doesn't do hair well? Black Ops 6, and I'll talk about that later.
The more I look at Neva, the more I want to do Neva. Like, this is gorgeous to look at. Like,
it's an incredibly gorgeous game.
Like, it's like this looks like a goddamn painting come to life.
I would call that on this list by. I call it almost tied with Metaphor. I just really like how Metaphor looks.
Metaphor looks great. My problem with Metaphor is, like, it is like Anthony said, a modification of what you saw in Persona 5.
Right.
Okay, so it is a Persona game because I'm looking at it. I've never played
fantasy
one,
Persona, yeah.
but it does look like
it's made by one of the. It's made by one of the 3 Persona Shin Megami Tensei themed studios.
So, I mean, these are all great picks. I think that my favorite to look at are Neva and Metaphor.
I want to give it to Neva.
Do we just want to give it to Neva?
Looking at it, it even makes me want to look at it, like, play the game, and it kind of gives me
very calming.
It reminds me of that. It reminds me a little bit of Journey, and I really enjoyed playing Journey.
Journey was an excellent game. Holy hell, that game was good.
Yeah, very relaxing. Like, it was a perfect game for.
All right,
in so many different ways.
We'll give it to Neva. All right. Next, all right. Best score and music. The options are Astrobot, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Metaphor Refantasio, Silent Hill 2, and Stellar Blade.
For outstanding music, inclusive of score, original song, and or licensed soundtrack.
I haven't touched any of these.
I have played all of these. Stellar Blade I've played the least, like, as in I played the trial they put out. Only 2 of these are games that I have had the want to listen to the music outside of the game, which are Astrobot and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yeah, with Metaphor, probably one of the less charming things about Metaphor is the music isn't. When you play a Persona game, the music is one of the things you notice right away. With Metaphor, hopefully you enjoy a lot of dramatic choir and vocals.
Yeah.
That's a lot of the soundtrack.
They don't have the Persona guys.
Right. And it's not bad, but it's kind of pretty normal for fantasy.
Yes.
With a little bit of dramatic choir, and that's about it.
Yeah, and
So would
then
it be your Final Fantasy?
ha 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 ha
Ha
ha
ha
ha
ha
ha
ha
ha
ha
ha.
ha ha.
Golf clap.
Yeah, I actually don't know the music of any of these other 4 games though. So
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a reorchestrated version of that music with some new tracks. It's really good. They nail what that soundtrack is for sure. That's how I also feel about Silent Hill 2. Like, good job, boys. You did the thing right. But Astrobot's music is just goddamn charming, and I'm bopping along to it the whole time, and I'm listening to it at work. So,
nice.
Yeah, I kind of want to go Astrobot, even if its soundtrack is like a little simpler than the rest of these. Like, Final Fantasy, it's giant orchestra.
Mine votes Astrobot because, it's got vibes.
It's got vibes. I like it.
Simpler does not detract from it if it fucking rules.
You're right, and
I'm
I say
starting to realize early into this that I haven't played any of these.
No, yeah. Look,
So
you
many
just
of the
gotta keep
nominees.
going.
We're definitely in the art categories right now.
Yep.
Narrative,
So
art design, score music.
As far as my vote goes, it's going to go to Astrobot for most of these.
Astrobot is, best audio design. Recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design. We have Silent Hill 2, Hellblade 2, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Astrobot, and Call of Duty 6. Black Ops 6, not Call of Duty 6, Jesus.
I can speak on 2 of these. Oh wait, the category. Yeah.
Wait,
So I
what
can
was
speak
the
on 2.
category?
Recognizing the best in game audio and sound design. Best audio design.
So yeah, I
Astrobot.
could speak on 2 of these. I think that in Hellblade, with the exception of the psychosis thing that they do with the speakers, the rest of the audio is pretty normal. I think.
Yeah.
In case of Black Ops 6, if I were to think of audio 6, I'm like, yeah, it's every Call of Duty game I've ever played.
Yeah, but
There's
this one's got
explosions,
pay to
there's
win
warfare.
audio.
It's got what?
This one's got pay to win audio.
Pay to win audio. What? Do you have like confetti for gunshot noises now?
So they have this thing that you can pay $20 for to make to make a custom audio profile that like scans your head and makes the directional audio even more accurate. It's by a third-party company.
Oh, I see.
I have not paid for that.
But that didn't ship with the game itself, did it?
No, you have to download an add-on.
This is third party.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's different then. It's a mod.
So
It is, but it's still a funny thing when you think about it.
it is. I don't know. I did not like. I think Silent Hill 2. The problem with Silent Hill 2 is it is such a direct remake in a lot of ways that as good as the audio design is, it's like, yo dog, it's that audio design. Yep, when the enemies are close, you hear the radio thing. Yep, that's what happened 23 years ago.
It's a good adaptation.
Yes. Hellblade, I think outside of that weird speaker trick thing, is not particularly interesting. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is it's good. It doesn't blow me away. Astrobot, I think, is interesting just because it uses the controller in cool ways. It uses the speaker controller to do select sound effects. So for example, when you ring a bell, it'll come through the controller, and it does select things through the controller and whatnot. But the only audio here that really stood out to me when I played it was actually Black Ops 6. That was the one I've gotten to play most of these games with a pretty good sound setup, and Black Ops 6 was the one where the directional audio of it fucked with me a couple of times. Yeah. So
I'll say that I definitely would lean a Black Ops when it comes to audio design on account of the fact that Call of Duty has pretty consistently made nice sounding guns a big part of their games. And I haven't played it yet, which is why I can't really say much about any of these. But I would expect Call of Duty to probably do really well in a category like this.
Shame on you. It is an amazing game.
It is a
I've
great
been
game.
playing old indie games and RuneScape.
All right.
I can't fault you on that. The only one out of this list that I've actually played, again, realizing that I kind of suck for being on a Game Pass now, and I've only
Real
played
people.
Call of Duty.
We're real people. We ain't got time to play all these games.
I mean, Call of Duty is great. Don't get me wrong. I love this one. I can't go with the vote on this one, even though it's the only one I've played.
All right. Well.
I missed this earlier when we were talking about Hellblade.
Mhm.
Being that the whole psychological thing is a big thing about those games,
Mhm.
I'm going to review it this week. That way I know what I'm talking about for next week's podcast. But the thing, that's what I went to school for, is for psychology. That's what I loved about the first game. So I'm definitely going to be playing that this week, now that I know it's on Game Pass. But as far as my vote, I have to go with Astrobot.
Okay, so we have a bunch of CODs and an Astrobot. We'll do COD. All right. Best performance. I'm going to be real. I think all the nominees here are terrible. Not like them.
I
Go with Astrobot.
I think there's an issue where they don't even list what character they performed for in the game, so I don't know which one it is unless it's really obvious, like in the case of Hellblade.
I had to go.
Yes.
I had to go look up some of these, and I haven't played 2 of these games, so
It's definitely not like last year when you had a choice between Peter Parker in Spider-Man 2 and Astarion in Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes.
Definitely not that this year.
So we have Brianna White, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. She plays Aerith. Hannah Tell, Life is Strange Double Exposure. Humberly Gonzalez, Star Wars Outlaws. Luke Roberts, Silent Hill 2. Melina Jurgens, Hellblade 2. I don't
I'm
know.
going to go with Star Wars.
Brianna White's Aerith before, and I think she's done a really good job as Aerith. So I'm leaning Brianna White.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'd go, because, like, it's the only performance here where I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, okay. So.
For Hellblade, is that the same girl that played the first one?
I believe so.
I assume.
If that's the case, I'm actually going to go with that because, like I said last time, it was a pretty good game.
Again, I've not played Hellblade 2, but I have to imagine her performance as that character is good because I feel like that game centers heavily around that performance.
Yeah.
Compared to these other characters.
All right, Anthony, you're the
There's
tiebreaker.
only 2. Yeah, there's only 2 of them that I even have experience with, and it's Hellblade and Star Wars. And as much as I want to be on the Star Wars fan boat right now, as far as gaming goes, that first Hellblade beats any Star Wars game as far as performance, storyline, and voice acting.
Quick comment in the chat. Battlefield 2 through 4, good pair of headphones. You can hear someone was running and what they were running on, gravel, wood floors, etc. Well, unfortunately, none of those are games from this year. So,
unfortunately not.
All right.
Fake news, Nitro. Fake news. That doesn't exist.
It would have been great.
Yep.
Would have been.
All right, Anthony, you're the tiebreaker. We got
the only one I've played on this list is Hellblade, so I guess I'll go with that one.
All right, Hellblade 2. Let's
Hellblade it is.
All right, so
Wait,
this
you mean that Astrobot is not in this?
Yeah, for some reason the
I
game.
feel like that's about the same. I feel that's like the same as having the voice actor of Link from any Zelda game, where it's just like yeah, ah,
yeah,
He said yeah real good.
yeah.
yeah.
You know.
I imagine
all right.
that's what would happen if Astrobot was on the list. That's what you would be voting for.
So this next category, innovation and accessibility, I can't vote on at all because I don't need accessibility features in general.
The way
thankfully. So
The way
I
I
haven't
usually-
run into whether or not they do have good accessibility features.
Because of this category, I have now started to look into what these features are when I play these games. So
the way I understand it is, so the way the awards describe it is recognizing software and or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. The thing is like when it says by an even wider audience, that can mean a lot of things. In my mind, it's not just accessibility features for those who have a disability. It's to like bring in people who may not be, say, very good at playing a game. Say if you were to have my parents try to play a game, they've only ever played Donkey Kong and Pac-Man in the 80s. Does the accessibility game allow to bring them into games? So like it's not just a physical concern. It's also like those who have never played games before, because games are
It's
really
mechanical,
complex.
too.
Yeah, because if you showed a controller to someone who doesn't really play games regularly, you're going to see like 4 buttons, a D-pad, 2 analog sticks, 2 triggers, and 2 bumpers, and just be completely confused on how to even navigate a menu.
Right.
So that's usually how I interpret the category.
So, by that standard, I feel like Diablo 4 is the pick. Because, like, that game's accessibility options are kind of insane. Like, it has every control mapping in the world you can think of. It does all this colorblind stuff, audio stuff, visual stuff to make playing that game easier to pick up and play. But the only other one on this list I played was COD, which it seems like normal COD accessibility features.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to go with COD on this because as far as it reaching a wider audience, which it does very well, especially with Xbox putting it on everything.
Yes.
Did you
guys know this is an Xbox? Did you know that?
That is, in fact.
Okay.
We'll get to that later.
This is an Xbox.
It's for green and black.
This is a bottle.
But
it is not an
Xbox. As far as accessibility, there are a number of streamers that I watch, even on TikTok, that are that have disabilities, and they play COD with just their mouth. So as far as this category, I have to go with Black Ops, because I see them play COD more than I see them play anything else.
Yeah, this is a category lists games, but like Microsoft has been doing a pretty good job with their accessibility things because they've been coming out with controllers.
They have the
accessibility controllers, so that's something worth highlighting outside of this. I will say, so I think like what we can also consider in innovation and accessibility is like good tutorials. Because like, hey, what helps a person learn a game if you're like young or if you're older or if you've never picked up a game controller before? A good tutorial goes a long way. In the case of Dragon Age, that's a pretty normal accessibility list. You got your usual colorblind settings. Props for the game industry for pretty much most of them adopting that. It's got normal tutorials. It's a regular action RPG blob game, light attack, heavy attack, parry, that kind of stuff. Friendly. I don't know if it's doing anything new though. I think maybe Star Wars Outlaws might be the same because Ubisoft blob game.
I'm willing to vote COD here. I did see those accessibility options. They are very strong. So
I've spoken to disabled people who have played Call of Duty before.
So
not to mention, this one did actually. I was really surprised when I first installed it onto the PC. It gave me a tutorial to play through, and usually that doesn't happen with a Call of Duty. You just jump in and you play, as if it's a regular shooter.
Here's a tutorial. It's 30 seconds long. Go through this mission. Knife, shoot, done.
Which speaking of that tutorial, if you can glitch it out, and if you shoot Woods enough, he will stand up.
Nice. Incredible. Game of the year.
So
all right, let's Call of Duty then, I guess. Yeah.
Call of Duty. Games for Impact for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social message or meaning. Nominees are Closer the Distance, Indica, Neva, Life is Strange Double Exposure, Hellblade 2, and Tales of Kenzira. I've only played Hellblade 2.
Same.
Some of these
Never
look
looked
interesting, though.
pretty though.
I do want to pick, like, I looked at these, and Closer, The Distance, and Neva both are on my list of shit I want to play now. But I think the only thing... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, a poor interruption, but I don't have much to contribute to this one either. I haven't played any of these games. Neva looks pretty. Hellblade, being about a message of like dealing with psychological issues, I could expect it to probably have an impactful message. But again, all speculation.
All right, so we've played Hellblade and we've seen Neva. Which do we want to vote for?
I want to go with Hellblade.
Well, the thing
only
of
other one I
Hellblade,
have interest in is Life is Strange, but I prefer the horror genre, Dark Pictures Anthology, which plays the same thing. Same way.
here's something to consider for Hellblade. Is Hellblade 2 a continuation of the message of Hellblade 1?
Kinda. Like,
I'll let you know in a week.
Yes.
Yeah.
In my opinion, mostly yes. I will add that bit.
I want to say Hellblade because I don't know the impact of the other 5.
I am sure all of these games have some message like that, but because we have only played Hellblade, we are going to vote Hellblade. All right.
Yeah, I say our lack of understanding. We go Hellblade, and then we go to best ongoing.
All right.
I'm gonna say, man, I'm watching this trailer for
This
Indica.
is the
I wish I had
category
checked out Indica.
for Bronson.
I played all of these fucking games on this list, and I'm also about to be a little tilted about something.
I played all of these games also. This is the first category. I played every single one of these.
I played all of them this year, even.
I know.
Yeah.
I've only played 3 of them.
I can speak on 3 of these.
So,
the fourth one. Yeah, okay. Let's go through it.
Let me talk about what best ongoing is. List the nominees, and then get fucking real mad about something real quick. Best ongoing, awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that involves the player experience over time. The nominees are Destiny 2, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Helldivers 2. All right.
Hey, what came out in September?
Hey, the war with...
I hate it, but I'm going to go with Fortnite. They bring me back more than any of the other games. I mean, don't get me wrong, Helldivers was great. And contrary to belief, I've never played a Diablo game. None of them have ever interested me.
That surprises me.
Diablo's my bottom. Diablo 4 is my bottom.
Destiny... Okay, so thing I need to rant about here. Destiny 2 is in a very bad place right now. Final Fantasy 14, a lot of people are mad about its fucking content right now and the way they're handling some of that.
Right.
Everyone who is playing World of Warcraft right now really enjoys the game for the most part because of all the new stuff they added, and a new expansion came out in September. Where the fuck is...
It's also the best it's been. It's also the best it's been in a good number of years.
Yeah. This is bullshit that WoW is not in this category.
Hold on.
It's weird.
Now,
wow.
Say, this could be ranted about anybody's MMO of choice. RuneScape had the Varlamore expansion release, and it's one of the best received expansions that it's ever had.
Sure,
including many major pieces of content.
It makes me feel old.
And I'm gonna be real.
All the League and Dota players are freaking tilted too. So, like, this kind of brings up the question of, like, so how did the judges pick this game? So I went to the WoW Reddit.
Yeah.
To find out, get an idea, but just to see how tilted people were. And the top comment was, well, yeah, the judges probably signed into WoW and were told they suck at playing tank, healer, or DPS.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Facts.
And that's probably what happened. And most of the community just kind of nod their head and be like, yeah, we do that.
And none of them played RuneScape, so that was never in consideration.
Why is COD not on here?
Because it's a new game. Like, this is for a game that is continuing.
Is it, though? I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
The story, the mechanics are kind of new. But...
They branded it as a brand new $70 game, though.
Yes, and
Helldivers...
Helldivers...
all of these are, like, expansions.
Except Helldivers, which is being developed actively. Like, COD came out in October, and it's going to be developed actively for a year, and then they're going to make a new one.
I'll
On the
also say
topic of
COD
he-
is like, it's PvP matches. It's the living game aspect of it. I think is not nearly as heavy as any of these contenders.
That's fair.
in
I'm
the
gonna
case
go
of
with Fortnite
Helldiver,
still.
in the case of Helldivers, it had this huge initial launch, and it did have that PSN fiasco
Mhm.
that angered a lot of people. But since then, they haven't seemed to have changed much to make everybody go, "Hey guys, we should go back to Helldivers." Like I think that by now they would have introduced like a third enemy type. Because when I looked back into it, it's still the same bugs and robots. They just have maybe another variation of bugs and robots in their
Yeah,
army.
So yeah, they've been
They're
teasing new
supposed to.
stuff,
So,
but
well,
Yeah.
they've been teasing it. But it's been good. It just it hasn't been ridiculous change. But people have been generally pretty happy with the developments that they've been doing and tweaking and listening to the community.
yeah,
Yeah.
they've been consistently hovering around 30 to 50,000 players since around May.
And I'm going to go back to it. And the only reason I am actually going to go back to it is to play it on the PC. But I'm going to use mods because on the PC, you can make it a Star Wars game.
That's
can.
true.
Yeah,
I'm going to be
Rockstar's
honest.
done
That's
that.
the only reason I'm
Okay.
going to go back for it.
So,
Nice.
and I do want to touch on Diablo right here, which is like Diablo was not in a great place until Vessel of Hatred. So that's another case of like, and the thing is like, yes, Duncan, you bring up the any MMO thing that gets good content, and I'm like, sure, you can drop Diablo and Destiny for RuneScape and WoW.
You
I would
can't
be all
actually
for
drop
it.
for RuneScape. You would have to have played RuneScape. Nobody does that.
That's true. You're right about that.
That's why like so many niche games just don't make this list, is because the judge panel can't cover everything. However many of them there are.
Yes.
RuneScape has a niche community. It's the second largest MMO by players, behind WoW right now, and then followed up by 14, which is a surprising statistic. But a lot of the mainstream game industry is just not engaging with it. It's got a very different audience.
Yes, and then I felt like this year was the first time I've heard the 14 community have like significantly negative sentiment about the game.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like most of the time it is sunshine and rainbows in that community, and
Mhm.
And lately it's been pretty
Ironically.
rainy. It's been pretty rainy over there.
If I can, I have a lot of things to say in a row about all these games. Okay?
go, riff, my
So,
friend,
3
riff.
runes in a row. Lay them out.
This is my irrational take here, because I'd say that likely this should probably go to Final Fantasy. I think it is the most consistently enjoyed among all of these games. Fortnite, it's oozing with money, but it's I don't think it's doing anything like super incredible. I think it's just got a solid base, but it doesn't rise high for me. Helldivers 2 started off incredibly strong, but I found that I fell off of Helldivers 2 really hard, and that none of their new content that they're adding is anything to grab me, because I've got the gameplay loop and it's not changing. What Helldivers 2 was once I got to the hardest difficulty and I beat that, I was like, okay, that's actually what the entire game is. It's just going to be different guns and more of this. Diablo 4, I enjoyed quite a bit. But after beating the main story, it never got me to come back, because I feel like I've always needed people to play Diablo 4 with, and not enough. There was not enough community draw and invite for me to get me properly engaged in the long term with Diablo 4. My actual pick here, despite its terrible state, is Destiny 2. It's Destiny 2, and I know I'm biased because I was a big Destiny guy once upon a time. But that raid was amazing.
You're right.
That
You are
raid-
right.
Was incredible. Just the raid alone. The DLC was pretty good. The DLC in general, it was a great expansion. I liked it, and it was a very fitting cap to the story. There was this huge climax. The 12-man mission that they introduced, that was awesome.
That was sick.
all awesome.
It was sick.
And then that raid capping off all that. It was so good. that I have to say Destiny 2, even though I didn't play any of the other season content after that. I don't care about any of the rest of that. It hit a high enough height to grab me here.
Okay,
That's what I have to say.
So
quick, hold on, guys. First off, you might got me on board with you, but a comment in the chat from Ari Starling says, "Oh hey, yeah, 14 has kind of died off quickly after DT, in my opinion. It made me quit in the middle of DT, middle of Dodge Trail. I was like, I'm out, peace."
I wish I could have the same passion as you with Destiny 2, but I've never done a raid.
I was once upon a time.
Well, fuck! We gotta bring the raid streams back. We gotta bring the raid streams back.
I will re-download it. I want to do a raid in Destiny 2.
I was once upon a time a top 100 raid player.
People that I can talk to. So my vote is Fortnite because I can still do that alone, and it still brings me back. It's got the Marvel and DC money. And I have put more money into Fortnite than any of these other games because I want them skins. And I'm still mad at Call of Duty right now.
So, my take is unfortunately not as passionate. Helldivers 2 is really awesome, but tapered off a lot. Right. Final Fantasy 14, I think I'm irrationally salty about it. I haven't played Dawn Trail, but I'm assuming a lot of its content's developed exactly the same way as it has been for the last 10 years. Right. And so, like, that one's hard for me to think as a good ongoing. Diablo 4,
as someone who has played Dawn Trail, I can tell you, it's the same old.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've never played Fortnite, so I can't really comment on that. Diablo 4, I remembered all my coworkers wanting to play the game, so I played the game with them, but Vessel Hatred hasn't brought them back. And Destiny 2, it's the best of times and the worst of times.
Right, it's the best of times, it's the worst of times.
Bungie has just gone completely nuclear, but those raids are the best raids I've ever experienced in any game. We're all contributing, we're all talking, we all have an assignment, you all feel involved.
Yep, I remember I was pulling it through, and it's a good time. It's a good time.
But the thing is, like, best ongoing, they just basically kept the server on. We were just running like Vault of Glass, which was like many years ago. So
it's old content, I
don't feel okay with picking any of these. Like Helldivers is the one I at least feel awful about, but it's also like kind of like the one that tapers off probably the quickest of all these I played. And that and the original Diablo 4. I guess I'll say Helldivers because you can come back and still play, and it's still the same. Yeah, once you solve it, then it's a solved game. It feels like. I'm
gonna have to say Destiny 2 because that finale, Duncan's right. That finale is fucking sick as fuck.
It was such a good finale, and it was the culmination of a decade of story build-up, and you get everybody does the Kamehameha blast at the same time, all into the witness. It was sick. It was dope.
You can do that in Fortnite too.
Yeah, but like you always get to do that in Fortnite. You get to do it one special time.
I think Duncan has a point. Like Fortnite, it could be best ongoing just because its player base is so huge.
Yeah,
right out the door. It has like that huge advantage.
Another thing I do want to bring up in Fortnite, and I still can't believe that I'm actually doing this, and I'm defending Fortnite against these games. But out of all these games, it is the oldest, and it is still a relevant game.
Actually,
Destiny 2.
I mean, 14 is the oldest one here.
Yeah.
I also want to mention the next category is best community support. So
that one. But as far as like relevance on a wider scale, Fortnite's got
relevance-wise, sure.
Yeah, but so let's talk about the category. Awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. So I think that all of these are bad at this because the Destiny experience is bad, good, bad, good, bad, good. The Diablo experience is the same. Bad, good, bad, good, bad, good. 14, consistently stagnant water. Fortnite, I'm going to be real. I think it's stagnant. Helldivers 2
tapered off somewhat.
It was good.
It's a good game, but they're not changing very much right now. They're working on stuff.
Helldivers
just
should be
here and there, and everyone's just kind of okay with it.
The more
Okay, so
hold on, we got a comment in the chat. DT got better towards the end, but the first half was a snooze fest. But I feel like that is every 14 expansion. But also, the more we talk about this category, the more I'm just like, War Within should have been in here based on war bands alone. God damn it!
Astrobot should have been in here. I'm voting Astrobot.
They did. They put out DLC for it. They did put out DLC, free DLC.
I guess if I had to pick between Destiny 2 and Fortnite, I would go with Destiny 2 because yes, what I went through was older content, but it's still
good
one
older
of the,
content.
It's still the best raiding experience I've ever had.
And that's still an active part of the game. Those are still weekly activities you have to engage in if you're dealing with the weekly raid rotation.
And also, the rewards are still in there, and they matter.
Raids, guys. Just invite me once.
I would be happy to help you go through a raid.
Let's get a hold of David and Luna and set something up. But
you don't even have to be
the
doing the race to do a job.
me from being a Destiny vote right now is you guys talk about the raids. I've never been in a raid. I don't know what it's like other than being frustrated enough to want to throw my controller because the randos that I get in with are just fucking not telling me anything, and I just died, and I don't like it.
Okay. Let's vote. I'm voting for Destiny 2.
Destiny 2.
Aaron.
I'm voting Helldivers, but not because it deserves it, just because I like it. And it's not appearing very much.
All right, so that's all right. It's Destiny 2. Sorry, let's see. All right,
no, it's fine.
Best community.
Take me on a raid.
Oh lordy. Okay.
Best community support. Right here, you only need 2 more.
Best community support. Recognize a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media, activity, and game updates / patches. So this is the game supporting its community and the community supporting the game.
I think 14 is quite easily not in a great position right now.
I say this is a pretty easy one. This is like clearly Baldur's Gate 3.
I was gonna say Baldur's Gate 3.
It is just purely based off of Rule 34.
Yeah, of course. The number one sign of community support
is Rule 34.
I think Overwatch disproves that. I think Overwatch disproves that.
It's true.
There is far more Overwatch players or Overwatch porn than there are players.
That's true. That's true.
At this point.
Yeah, I would say Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, I definitely want to go with Baldur's Gate 3 with this one because very much the players of that game are almost entirely universally behind it. And they've been putting out huge patches and constantly developing the game. And they're like, hey, guys, we actually put out more free stuff for you. We expanded the evil ending further.
They keep doing it. They just keep putting more stuff in there.
And they keep fixing the hundreds of patches they're found. And they're just like, a lot of games, what you see with patches, they fix a huge number of patches early on. And as the more and more patches put out, fewer and fewer things get fixed with each one. Baldur's Gate 3 is like, we found another 80 things to fix.
Mm-hmm. And they also...
Big mod support. They're totally okay with it.
Deck and portable PC support.
You can buy a physical copy of Baldur's Gate 3 Deluxe Edition if you wanted to on disc.
PS5 Pro support. Like and the community has gone crazy supporting it. TikToks, memes, porn, you name it.
You even get stuff down to the voice actors being brought together to do panels of expanded content for the characters where they play D&D as the cast of the game. Like, there's just so much still going on with Baldur's Gate 3.
So Baldur's Gate 3, alright. Easy W.
I do want to tell everybody, though, enjoy Baldur's Gate as it is while you can, because we're talking about Wizards of the Coast here and Hasbro.
Yep.
And Larian's not going to make a Baldur's Gate 4. So
very clearly
enjoy it while you can.
I recently just found that out that they canceled the plans for Baldur's Gate 4. which is weird because it's only been like a year in, and it was widely successful.
It's seemingly just rude communication from a person at Hasbro.
I think given what Wizards of the Coast has done to Magic the Gathering, and what they did to D&D with their licensing thing,
very hard to get into.
Between the licensing and the way they've been treating the D&D and MTG communities,
setting up the.
I'm not surprised that Larian would prefer to distance themselves.
Yeah.
From the property owners of that. So, yeah. As
So-
far as like 14,
Go ahead.
One thing I do want to bring up is, which is surprising, is the fact that No Man's Sky is still a relevant topic enough to actually come up in this.
They're going.
Because like that was one game I did pre-order. I loved it at the beginning, and I just loved it more as it got better and better, to the point where that it is on my wish list right now to get back into, especially on PC and VR.
Right.
So I do want to point that out, that game has definitely earned its place on this as far as community though, and talk and relevance. It's
I have nothing but nice things to say about No Man's Sky these days. It's just Baldur's Gate 3 is such an exceptional thing right now that it unfortunately just ran into a brick wall.
It's the nuclear bomb to coughing baby situation here.
Yeah. All right. So, best independent game for outstanding creativity or creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. We have Balatro, Animal Well, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, Neva, and UFO 50.
I have something very important to point out right off the bat.
Okay.
It's that you reordered Balatro to be at the front when reading those out.
Same thing.
No, these are randomized.
Balatro was so great. Oh, they're randomized? Okay.
Yeah.
Because mine has Animal Well first.
Mine sorted
too.
alphabetically.
Yeah.
Mine is also sorted alphabetically, but my eyes got caught by Balatro first.
Oh, God, what you did! Oh my God!
Yeah. He reordered Balatro to be in front. Balatro is so great that it sucks you towards it. And I've heard amazing things about Animal Well. I certainly plan on playing it.
Yes.
UFO 50 looks great. I've watched a lot of other people play UFO 50, and I'm like, oh, that's a cool game. That's a really cool game. Balatro's awesome, dude. It's a cool game.
Look,
I'm gonna have to vote with him. I mean, that passion is just he's got it.
With the cards and the number go up, and it goes, and it's like and then the fires. It's too good.
So I've played Animal Well. I've played Balatro. I have watched a lot of UFO 50. So those are the ones I can really comment on. I would vote for Balatro.
Okay.
All right. So we have 3 for
I
Balatro.
would, however, fight a kangaroo.
All right. We can do Balatro. Easy. So, best debut indie game: Animal Well, Balatro, Manor Lords.
Do we even need to talk about this at this point?
Pacific. I do. I want to talk because I actually prefer another game on here, at least so far. Yes, because the Plucky Squire is charming as fuck. That game is.
I mean, that's a charming picture.
You do seem to be quite the plucky squire yourself.
So that game is I guess it would be a 2D Zelda-like, but it keeps throwing weird new mechanics at you. And the idea is like you're a hero in a storybook who can pop out into the real world to go grab shit to solve problems in the storybook. And then they also add a bunch of other crazy mechanics in like every chapter. So like the first boss, the game turns into Punch-Out for a little bit. And then like at one point you have to go into the real world to go talk to a Magic the Gathering card to get its bow and arrow to use on a boss fight in the actual game. And it is funny as hell, charming as hell, and just goddamn, dude. If you have PlayStation Plus Premium, or I think the game is like $20, well worth it. It's so goddamn good.
I think I'm certainly. I definitely want to try the game. I just think it's in a bad position because Balatro is not only one of my Game of the Year contenders, it's also an indie game made by a solo dev this year.
I don't
And
know how many people made Plucky Squire, unfortunately.
it's just a really great game. And it's one of the things where in harder to win categories, Balatro is still taking it for me. So it's still going to be Balatro for me.
All right,
I'm going to vote with Bronson on this one. Plus, it's all possible features.
that is the name of the
Oh,
developer. All right, this is
Balatro's dev is named Local Thunk.
all right.
I'm
All
not
right.
a hipster. I don't do the things.
All right.
Pumpkin.
Aaron and Anthony, you're the tiebreakers on this one.
I vote with him now.
Like, oh, this is tough.
It's between Balatro and Plucky Squire because
unless the
two
both of you vote for the same thing, and then it creates a three-way situation, and we have to have a discussion.
I can only speak on Manor Lords and Pacific Drive Manor Lords. I did play that preview on Xbox, or more like on my PC through Xbox.
Right.
And Pacific Drive I heard through Yahtzee. Talking,
I've heard good things about it.
Yeah,
so have I.
But I haven't played it, and I don't know enough about it. Manor Lords, my main struggle with this game is that it's in early access and it's developed by one person, and it feels unfinished. It is a very commendable effort, and I look forward to how the game is going to be further developed in the next year. But it's in a state where I feel like it's not finished enough.
Right.
Because I played tutorial and my approval rating in the town was 48%. To get population growth, your approval has to go over 50%. But I was like, how do I get my approval up? I put a tavern up and nobody seems to approve that I put up a place where you guys can get drunk every day.
Right.
So there's some other thing I'm missing. Feels basic, but a commendable effort by a single person creating like a top-down town building game.
I feel like it should go to Plucky Squire because Balatro will win the category, and you just gotta vote for the underdog sometimes.
And I like underdogs, so that's why I picked Plucky Squire.
All right, well, Plucky Squire it is. All right, we're moving.
Sure.
All right, best mobile game: AFK Journey, Balatro, Pokemon trading card game Pocket, Withering Waves, Zenless Zone Zero.
Okay, so if we're going off of the same metric you said before of the amount of pornography, Zenless Zone Zero easily takes the entire category. Of course, Balatro is here again. Balatro is here again. I'm obviously leaning Balatro here. But Zenless clearly has a crazy amount of dedication and development and super money behind it.
It's Hoyoverse.
Yeah, it's Hoyoverse.
Yeah, Hoyoverse. I mean, I've been sponsored by those games, and this one I haven't particularly played.
Mm-hmm.
But I would actually have to be. I'd also swing that way. The only other game that I played, actually, the only one I've played is AFK Journey.
Right. Wuthering Waves is also really interesting. It's kind of it's like trying to Hoyoverse-ify a Souls-like game. Very character action. And it was interesting for a take on mobile. I didn't actually play a lot of it, but I watched other people play it. It definitely seems like a cool game. But I don't know if it's gonna beat ZZZ, and I mean, I love Balatro too much to not put my vote in for Balatro. So
So what is AFK Journey?
No idea.
It's a
I've seen it
How
a
do I
lot. I don't know
explain
anything
it?
about its gameplay at all. That I think for
It pretty
me,
much plays itself, honestly.
Yeah.
Like the whole AFK thing is really a big aspect of it. There are things you can do
it
with
is
it.
literally AFK.
Yep.
Yes, yes.
Oh.
So it is
it
a
seems
game that essentially
clicker
plays
inspired.
itself.
And then
I
like
mean, it's
Pokemon
got
Trading
great
Card Game,
art.
well,
It does have
mean,
great art.
Pokemon Trading Card Game.
Yeah.
A lot of us know what
I'm
that is.
playing it.
Rule 34.
It's another one of, you open the card packs and there are cards out there. It saves me money from having to get the same kind of thrill from buying actual cards. So
No,
I
it doesn't.
that.
It doesn't save you money because you will spend money on the fake cards also.
It will not. Some other people will. That's
Other people
fine for
will. I'm
them.
just saying for the general population, I know
it sucks for
multiple
them.
people who have already dumped hundreds of dollars into Pokemon TCG pocket.
Oh my god. Okay, well.
I haven't given Pokemon money since
Do I sense
April.
some growing pains here, Aaron?
Well, I mean, I know some people struggle with managing their money, and I feel
Yeah.
bad for them. That sucks, but
It's
Wow.
why
think
I
there are
haven't
people-
even touched the
And
game.
his coffees.
Yeah. I just
It's actually why I haven't touched 4 of the 5 games on this list is because they are all heavily microtransaction ridden, and I don't want a part of that.
right. So
That is completely fair.
if you'll allow me a moment to talk about Zenless Zone Zero, I want to start off by saying
Please
that
do.
I think the winner of this category is Balatro. I enjoy Zenless Zone Zero. I think it's a well done one of those, but let me tell you, as someone that's trying to play the game right now, I am struggling to find the motivation, specifically because they are having you go through the story to progress and get more of the currencies you need to level up your characters. And the more I play, the less I care about what the hell is going on in this world. And yet
That
they
story's
force me to go
feeling
to
like
these
a
fucking
chore.
cutscenes.
Yeah.
It's rough, man. And it's great when you are running into characters that you're interested in, but right now they're going through these characters that some people like, but man, I don't care at all. And now we're just having to go through this. And it's also a game that I imagine similar to other Hoyoverse games where it's like they have gotten like manipulating you down to a science, to the point where like I don't feel like I'm playing a game and enjoying and like getting immersed in the world. I feel like I'm directly interacting with this dopamine machine that like when we're working together, it's great. When I'm in the game and it's like, all right, I know the buffs that I've given to these characters. I'm going to change my gameplay to try and take advantage of that to defeat these enemies. When I'm in that zone, it's great. It does it well. But outside of that, I'm just like, I don't want to grind anymore, man. I don't.
Yeah,
I'm good.
You're being forced to play through sections of story that you're like, this is a 45-minute ad for a character I'm not interested.
That I'm going to like
That
roll
is 100%
and maybe
true.
get. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I paid a little bit of money. I paid a total of $16 for this game. For the amount of time I played it, they more than deserve that, I think.
Certainly reasonable.
The Pokemans.
Yeah. But like, yeah, I like paid stuff. I'm getting premium currency, and I'm just like, I'm good. I'm good.
I'm all right.
I think
I've got a character I like.
I got a number of characters I like. I'm gonna play them. I want to get ones for each, class type and one element type, so I can have stuff, for each situation. But I don't know, man. It's not there for me. I think Balatro, for one being the one game that's not asking you to dump money, but 2, it sounds like it's just a really good game.
Yeah,
I had Balatro on mobile. Is it like $15?
It's
or something?
$10. It's $10.
Yeah, $10.
And also
it's so much.
I pay for a family subscription to Apple One, so my mom can have Apple Arcade, and I can have music, and Steph can have TV. And Balatro is free if you have Apple Arcade. So
There you go.
Wow.
So
And just to
Balatro it
spice the
is.
deal up, I'm going to make Rule 34 content for Balatro.
For Balatro. No, you don't understand. You don't understand. When you get the multiplier, the wild card on the queen, it looks like running mascara.
Oh, okay. All right. There you go.
Great.
see the thing
Hang on,
is
I'm checking right now.
But
Just a little effect on the side.
Balatro already like is a lot of jokers. So I mean, technically, clown porn exists.
Yep.
So there you go. Rule 34.
Why do you got to do that? I was having a decent day.
What, you're afraid of a little Clussy? Come on!
Yep.
I did not need clown porn for my day. Nobody wants that.
Aaron, where's this going?
Look, don't worry about it. I checked. There are 11 images for Balatro.
11 images.
But like, it's not great. A lot of it's just like characters doing it, and then there's Balatro on the screen. So they got work to do.
So it's sold, Balatro. Oil versus
to next category, please.
Alright, we're voting for Balatro.
I need a numbers comparison. You said 11 images. How many are there for Zenless Zone Zero?
Oh god.
But I know you don't want to play that game
Easily.
because you don't want to know about Pokemon. You don't want to know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Pokemon has the years behind it.
Yes.
And it's
Yes, it does.
borderline very, very close to clown porn.
Also, I love how like looking at the screen, it goes from most degenerate to least degenerate. By the way. All right. Best VR/AR for the best experience playable in VR or AR, irrespective of platform.
It's Astrobot.
I'm pissed about this category.
I've only seen 2 of these games. Batman seemed pretty cool.
To be honest, I've heard more good things about the Batman game than any of the other ones, and I know Asgard's Wrath 2 was heavily pushed. The promotion on that alone
It was
heavy.
huge.
Also, the other games are Arizona Sunshine, Metal Hellsinger VR, and Metro Awakening.
Nobody wants to go to Arizona.
So I feel strongly about this because the best VR AR game of the year isn't even nominated. It's I have talked about it on the podcast before. It is Blade and Sorcery, which came out of early access just a couple months ago.
Oh my god. I am so done hearing about that game.
It released it released a proper RPG progression mode where it generates dungeons and you have to go through them and you collect points, and they added a bunch of new spells. It's great. It's great. It's a great game. And I think deserves to be on here, especially even that Arizona Sunshine, a game that I kind of hate, is on here. I think that game's incredibly overrated. I've seen it constantly hailed as this great game, and I did not have a great time when I played Arizona Sunshine. Asgard's Wrath 2 seems like it's fine. I've played like this tiniest bit of it. It didn't get me to play more of it, so it didn't compel me very much. And I haven't played any of the other 3 of them, so
here's a question I have
about those.
Here's a question I have about Blade and Sorcery. Do you think this suffers from something that's happened with a couple other games? The one that jumps out at me most is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Do you think it came out in early access, but because VR has so little, everyone jumped on and has been playing it a lot, and like the fact that it officially released this year doesn't really weigh much on anyone's mind?
There wasn't much of a hubbub about it. Pretty much anyone who has a PC VR headset probably has Blade and Sorcery, and so you're just not thinking about it. It's like, yeah, of course I play Blade and Sorcery, and then it's it's there. It's also a big like showing off a headset to people game, but like, not a lot of people are thinking about it as a new release. And in fact, when the full release content came out, there wasn't much of like a reinvigoration for the game, because the physics engine and the sandbox version of the game are honestly more engaging than their RPG mechanic version. Because while it's not bad, the progression mode is certainly fun. It's just like it's limiting in that you can't do literally whatever you want, and when you're playing that game, you're kind of being pulled in by the level of interactivity and how great the physics are and the, sense of power all the magic spells give you, and you want unlimited access to that. So it's very common to boot that game up and then go, all right, let me turn on all the cheats immediately so that I have unlimited mana and that I can slow down time into Matrix mode and shit. And so with the full release, it's like the lesser of the content for the game came out, and the prime game that people are playing, that's been there for years now.
So to get to the vote, though, you've played Asgard's Wrath too, so that's what we're going with?
Wait,
if I'm going to pick any.
Uh-huh.
Let's remember Rule 34.
Right, Rule 34, okay.
Batman.
That's true. That's true. That's going to be a lot.
Catwoman, just saying. Or Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn.
But are they in the game?
Doesn't matter. Rule 34 wins.
All right, so we'll go Asgard's Wrath. Next category. Best action... best action game. For the best game in the action genre focused primarily on combat. Black Myth Wukong, Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Stellar Blade, and Space Marine 2.
I'd say Wukong probably wins the category, but because I haven't played it, I'm big in on Space Marine here. I played a lot of Space Marine. It was really fun. It's, I think, a Helldivers, but I think it's better than Helldivers.
Wow.
And that's saying a lot because I really liked Helldivers. But the weapons are more satisfying. The missions are more interesting. The level of customizability for your guy is fun. And I just liked it. And I like the progression system in Warhammer as well.
I wish I had played more Wukong, because from the 2 hours of Wukong I got to play, holy shit, that combat is fun as hell. Like, when you get a perfect dodge and it creates the clone, and then you can just fucking wail on a dude, or like, right before you're about to hit, you use the immobilize spell. Oh, dude. It is so sick. But I've only gotten to do 2 hours of it, so I'm curious to see if that loop continues for the all, 50 hours that game is. Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I mean, Call of Duty, yeah, there's combat. It's the same combat, though. Game after game, it's the same stuff.
It's a really good tight loop.
Helldivers is great, but, I mean, at the end of the day, it's still just a shooter. The ones that I would actually put my vote for is Wukong. I've seen such amazing gameplay from that. Or Warhammer, because the Empire outweighs democracy any day, and I'm not a fan of treason. And
or the
I
Imperium.
don't want to be stripped down and punished. I would rather fight for the Empire.
Speaking of Rule 34.
Fan base behind that. Yeah. Oh, and Rule 34. Talk about some dumb mommies there.
I'll say on that note, Stellar Blade.
Hey,
there we go.
Nobody's beating Stellar Blade in the Rule 34 category. And
talk about beating, yes.
I have heard nothing. I've heard nothing but good things about the action combat in Stellar Blade. In fact, in talking to people who have played Stellar Blade and Wukong, I've been told they're roughly equivalent in how great their action combat.
I feel Stellar Blade is a little heavier, which is why I liked Wukong a little more. Now, granted, I've only gotten to play 2 hours of both of these games, so take that out what you will.
You got to put the time in. You got to get good, Bronson.
It's more of a I did not want to pay $120 for each of those. Is what that was. So. Yeah. All right. Well, so.
I was gonna say, what do you guys think, Aaron and Anthony? What are your takes?
I just the combat of Helldivers 2 is not probably the greatest. You want to talk about satisfying guns and things like that, whatever. But purely in terms of action, when you descend to a planet and you're at I don't know, for me it's level 6, level 7. People are going higher, obviously, but when you go down into the shit, like it has created an experience and a feeling that it made it the one game I keep coming back to this year because when things get out of hand, it's absolutely nuts and I love it. Purely by like definition of action, I think Helldivers takes it. Now, is it best action game as described in this category? I don't know. Like the combat is not the most amazing thing I've ever experienced, but just purely action and chaos. Oh my god.
See, I consider Helldivers 2 a comedy game because of that's the way
Helldivers 2 it's a much better moment generator than its equivalent on this list being Space Marine. And I'll say that its enemy variety is certainly more interesting and the scale is larger, which is strange considering that it's Warhammer that it's being compared to, but it has a larger scale, I'd say. You're dealing with a lot more huge enemies. The reason that Warhammer takes it for me over Helldivers, given their comparable nature, is that I think the combat just feels nicer. I really like the parrying, and I think that its weapon variety is better. I think Helldivers has this issue where a lot of the weapons that you use are kind of just tweaked versions of the other weapons. And Warhammer can give you some really different feeling guns at certain points. Mind you, it does have quite a few weapons that are just tweaked versions of other weapons. But I just really enjoyed Space Marine. I think it was a great game.
So I've played 3 of these games. Black Ops 6, it's Call of Duty.
Yeah,
they've added like one.
The new movement
sorta
shit is
open
cool. The new movement stuff is cool. I will say that for COD.
But yeah, it's very much Call of Duty, kind of like the same thing I'm familiar with, except they added like Elder Scrolls awkward stiff conversation options and a sort of open map.
Don't they have a scene where you are a baby and the omnidirectional movement still fully works?
I didn't.
I've seen clips of that. I've seen clips of people omni moving as a baby, and that was gas. That was sick.
Okay, so
so like that's Call of Duty. So that one I personally wouldn't pick that one. Helldivers and Warhammer. Helldivers, I like it a lot. I enjoy the mobility. I like the CQC type of movement. That's out of Metal Gear. The guns tend to feel the samey, but it's a lot of like, okay, I've got limited ammo. Like, there's a lot of common sense logic into it. Yes, of course, if you're going to launch an ICBM and you're standing right next to it, you're going to get blasted off your feet. If you launch,
fine.
The stratagems are hilarious, especially when
teammate.
The stratagems are hilarious when it's a 360 orbital. Chaos is hilarious. It's probably I'd say it's number 2 under Destiny 2 this year as far as the games I've enjoyed the most. As far as Warhammer, I've only played the campaign mode because I don't have anyone to play that game to explore its PvE thing yet. The campaign is okay. I say the combat's like a mix of like Gears of War and melee stuff, so you can parry, you can light attack, hard attack, but you also have guns, so it kind of like feels like a decent mix of that. The campaign I think is okay, feels like very much Gears of War. So I haven't seen like any of the joy from the multiplayer yet, so I kind of don't have that opinion of Space Marine being like this amazing
and there's this unfortunate
co-op experience
reality of Space Marine 2 that they reserved a lot of their most interesting like stuff for the PvE multiplayer, which was a poor decision, I think. But like there are multiple like boss monster enemies that just don't appear in the campaign at all.
Yeah, in the campaign, when everybody says the game's awesome, you play through the campaign, it's like every bug's the same and every heretic is the same.
Yeah,
like what gives? So yeah, like I haven't gotten enough Warhammer, but out of those 3 games I've experienced, I want to pick Helldivers 2. Yeah, it's tapered off. Yeah, a lot of people I know who play that game haven't really gone back since, but it's still like as a moment generator.
All right,
it's a very close race between those 2 for me, I'd say.
All right, so I need final votes from everyone. Duncan?
Wukong.
I'm Space Marine.
Aaron?
Helldivers.
Anthony,
I'm Helldivers.
Okay, and I'm Wukong. So, all right, we have 2 Wukongs, 2 Helldivers, and the Space Marine. Duncan, tiebreak.
Wait. My second vote is definitely Helldivers. So.
Okay, so
I
Helldivers.
say
All right, it's
All right,
Helldivers.
we got Helldivers. Cool.
All right, Helldivers is great. All right, best action adventure for the best action adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. We have Astrobot, Prince of Persia: Lost
I
Crown.
don't think we even need to actually vote on this one.
Let him list them off.
Silent Hill 2, Star Wars Outlaws, Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. It's Astrobot. Astrobot, I 100%ed. I have the platinum. That was the best fucking 16 hours I've had in a game all year. Fun from start to finish. All quality, no filler bullshit. Loved every minute.
It's a cute little robot that fills you with nostalgia.
Yes, that too. It does have the nostalgia play, which is nice.
That's
All right.
true.
Best RPG for the best game design with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. We have Dragon's Dogma 2, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Metaphor Refantasio.
Warcraft is missing again.
It sure is. Boy, howdy.
Including MMO experiences. All right, that aside, so
Star Wars Old Republic.
I've played through Dragon's Dogma 2 twice. 2 hours through Metaphor, and I've only experienced Like a Dragon through a demo through the man who erased his name.
Okay.
I may need a moment to figure out my thoughts on this.
Oh, I must say.
Mhm.
Well, you can go ahead if you'd like.
Sure. I'll go first. Because I have played at least all of these, and I have finished 2 of them and gotten a good chunk of the way into Dragon's Dogma. So I think Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is once again the worst game on this list. I think it is incredibly padded and bloated, with a bunch of needless bullshit in it. I absolutely loved all of my time in Infinite Wealth. I liked Dragon's Dogma 2, but it is somewhat janky. And then Elden Ring continues to be more Elden Ring, and Metaphor is... I've only 6 hours in an RPG, that's hard to say. But the 6 hours have gotten me totally hooked. So, yep.
I will say that for Dragon's Dogma 2, that was a 3 out of 5 game for me. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
But I kind of felt like for a game that's supposed to realize the potential that Dragon's Dogma 1 couldn't achieve, Dragon's Dogma 2 kind of came out sort of in the same... Okay, but Dragon's Dogma 3 will now have the real potential this time, right? Because there was rumors of the game being rushed out. But I liked it a lot, but you kind of have to look for something a little specific in order to like get through that whole game.
You can feel that game lose its energy too. It feels like I get to like the latter half. I get to that final rainy area towards where you start at, and the game just feels like there's less. And I'm less interested at that point. And I really loved Dragon's Dogma 2. But yeah, it's probably like a 3 out of 5 game.
If you want to experience what it means to go on an adventure, the game is fantastic for that. But yeah, to Bronson's point, there is some jank, and it's another one of those like, but is this the real potential? No, you feel there's just something a little missing from it, and that did exist in the first game, and it's a bummer. So
that game has so much cool shit in it. I will say that it is a very. Yeah. It has a lot of moments where I'm like, bro, but also I got to a point where I was just like, yeah, this is good, but I don't feel a real need to like go back into it right now.
It needed more juice. It needed more juice, and it needed some more climactic, interesting fights.
And again, you have to look for something pretty specific to see that game to the end. So
yeah. So okay. I have. I think Shadow of the Erdtree takes this for me. And that's because my number 2 is probably Infinite Wealth, and I haven't even played Infinite Wealth. That's just how much I love the Yakuza series. And I've heard nothing but great things about it. But Shadow of the Erdtree is the only game here that I was like, I got to that final boss and I beat it. And I'm like, damn, that was incredible. It was really, really impactful. I think it's a major improvement to the main game of Elden Ring. I think Elden Ring is much better with Shadow of the Erdtree. Given that it now counts DLCs for the category, I'd say it's roughly full game sized. Also, it's a 40-hour experience.
My issue is like, to get to this, you have to get near the end of Elden Ring. So like, a lot of people will never see it because of that.
Yeah, and I had a completely maxed out character with the rest of Elden Ring done when I went into it, which is like the ideal circumstances to enjoy it. So that certainly made things better for me. But yeah, I just really, really like Shadow of the Erdtree. It's the only one that had a real wow factor for me.
Okay, but can you play Pokemon, but the Pokemon are hobos?
No, you can't do that. You can't do that. And if I get to... So the reason I haven't played Infinite Wealth is because I'm playing through the rest of the series to build myself up to it. And that takes a long time. I'm currently halfway through 5.
That is a long series. I have played all of them. Hey, we got a sub. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hell yeah.
Big interruption. Love you guys. Keep going. And then Dwarf Wolf Dad, what is up, party people? What's up, Dwarf Wolf Dad?
What's up?
Hell yeah.
All right.
But I'm 6 40-hour experiences into the Yakuza series to get there, and I'm another 3 away. So it's going to be a while until I actually get to that. But I imagine if I do get to the end of that, it always has great climaxes. And I could see this edging out Erdtree for me if I'd played it.
Yeah, so I absolutely loved Infinite Wealth. Like I said, if it weren't for my lack of desire to do the Animal Crossing minigame, I would have gotten the Platinum. I put 70 hours into it and loved every goddamn minute of it. And just, yeah, it is a polished as hell, fun JRPG. It, dude, and the variety is still there that Yakuza has always had. Yo, dog, do you want to go catfish people in online dating and get catfished? Because that's a side quest.
Obviously.
Do
you had me at Pokemon hobos.
Yeah, it's a great RPG. It is a great Dragon Quest style RPG, and they actually did fix the problem with the original of the way you would try and chain attacks together in a zone, but then people would move. So
yeah.
I don't know. How does everyone feel? What are we looking at?
I don't
my
have
votes
an
are,
opinion about any of these.
Yeah, I don't have a dog
my
in
votes
this fight.
are Erdtree. My second vote would be Infinite Wealth.
Okay.
Metaphor.
My vote's for whatever one has the spiciest Rule 34. Since that's the theme we're
probably Final Fantasy.
Yeah, probably.
That's true. That stuff goes hard. That shit goes real hard.
But this game doesn't, it sounds like.
It's not bad, and I'm going to go over that more when we get to the Game of the Year category. It's not a bad game. It's very similar to what Anthony said. I gave it a 3 out of 5 on the podcast. I think it is
Tim Rogers put it best when speaking about Aerith. He said, "I would let her kill me."
All right. Aerith was not my waifu in that game.
Yeah, but I would also let Tifa kill me. So.
Yeah, yes. Hard agree. So, all right. So we have an Infinite Wealth and we have an Erdtree. Lucy is abstaining. Aaron's abstaining. Anthony, what's up?
I mean, I want to go with Metaphor because that's the.
So what you play?
I feel like I'm enjoying that more than Dragon's Dogma 2, and that's of the 2 games I've actually made any progress in.
All right, Aaron, you can't abstain.
Okay, all right.
I'm fine with Infinite Wealth though.
Okay,
so,
we can.
Hobos for the win!
Woo! Hobo Pokemon.
Hoboken. But that's a place.
See, I kind of want to get the PC version now so I can play through it again on deck.
Oh man.
You want hobos on your deck?
Yeah. You know it, baby.
Next category.
So, Infinite Wealth it is.
Infinite Wealth.
Fighting game.
Here we go.
What are these games?
I did play 2 of these demos of them.
I have played all of these, and I own all of these.
You do?
Yep. I own every single one of these. Best fighting game for the best game design primarily around head-to-head combat. Dragon Ball, Sparking Zero, Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising, Marvel vs. Capcom, Fighting Collection, Arcade Classics, Multiverses, and Tekken 8.
My feelings on this.
I have a bet that you're going to go Marvel versus Capcom.
It's Marvel, baby.
My feelings on this are quite short. I imagine Bronson has much to say, given that he's played all these. I'm going to say I've only played Sparking Zero. I have touched Tekken 8. I think it's Tekken 8 for me between those two. I do love Sparking Zero, though. That was a very fun game.
You didn't play it much online, did you?
No, but that's not what that game is. It's technically a fighting game, and you don't touch the online. You touch the what-if scenarios, and you go, ooh. That's it.
You play the online and do what I do and troll people by playing a team of a bunch of nobodies and win through pure
Apparently,
cheese.
Chaozu is insanely OP, though.
He is. I don't run him, though. I run Krillin, Hercule, Videl, and then if you get through my army of trash, you get the privilege to fight Vegito.
I've heard great things about Chaozu, Yajirobe, and there was one other big meme character. Was it like Birder or something?
Yes. Birder is still a meme character. Yajirobe isn't anymore. They nerfed him.
Damn.
Unfortunate.
So, alright. I love Sparking Zero. I got the Platinum. I don't think it is a particularly good fighting game. I think it is a fun Dragon Ball simulator. They ruined Multiverses. Unfortunate.
That's the only one I've played, and even I have to be like, no.
So it's kind of down to Grand Blue versus Marvel versus Tekken. Also, it's weird that Multiverses is here, but not Under Night. But, is what it is.
Yep.
So I'm split in two directions on this, because I think Tekken 8 is a new release, and it's probably the strongest game, even with some of the controversy around it. However, Marvel versus Capcom.
Controversy without the Rizzler.
Okay. Anyway, but on the other hand, it's Marvel. It's Marvel vs. Capcom.
Okay.
That's all you need. That's the only fighting game you need.
Is it really a new release?
You are
not,
correct.
but he wants to give the award so that they can keep making these Marvel games.
So when we're talking about remastered, re-releases, remakes, and DLC, how much has this collection added compared to all the other games? Other than the fact that it's like 8 or more games packed into one.
They added a better training mode with that's kind of fully featured, and they added online play with rollback. Which, quite frankly, that's all I needed.
It does a lot for it. It does a lot for it.
I don't know.
So for me, I actually tried the demos of both Tekken and Grand Blue. I'll go with Tekken on this one. Though, I don't know enough about fighting games. I'm just going off my personal preference. So, I seem to enjoy Tekken more. I like that it has the modern controls thing also. That's a nice thing the genre has had recently. So, my vote for this one would be Tekken. I'm sure Marvel vs. Capcom is huge. It's monumental to the community, and there's a lot of nostalgia and hype about it. But if we're talking about but in this case, if we're bringing this back, we're going to bring in Street Fighter 6 DLC in? Are we going to bring in a re-release of other games in? And so in this case, I'm like, it's huge to the community, but
I mean,
the vast majority of all these games here are like new releases, unless the category says something like best ongoing.
I mean, they have done that with Street Fighter. Like, I remember years ago they put Street Fighter 5, I think it was Champion Edition.
So what you need to do, Capcom, is start doing what you did in the 90s, Super Street Fighter 6 Turbo Edition Extreme 5. There you go.
Oh, wow.
Do that.
True.
There
Do
we
that.
go.
And then you have a new release every year.
With air conditioning.
Okay, so...
My vote's just for the game that one man alone almost ruined it for everybody.
The Wozler! Beware the Wozler!
That's pretty funny. It was pretty funny, though.
It was. That was a great segment every time it came up because it was. So that's my.
The problem with me voting for Tekken here would be it's my third favorite game on the list out of the 3 real fighting games here. Like,
I think your vote, though, counts for like 3 votes here.
Aaron, I'm guessing you're
I'm
Tekken.
glad somebody said something.
I'm going to go Tekken because a lot of the controversy around Tekken involves people who know actually how to play the game, and because I'm not on that level, I play the game on a casual level, and it's a nice fully featured thing, and it's great.
Normie
Fair.
endorsement for Tekken 8.
Yeah.
I think Tekken 8 actually does end up winning the category in the long run, too.
Oh, I do think when the awards
I
come
will
around,
say
absolutely.
that as a person who doesn't know fighting games, when I saw a little bit of the chapter 1 of the story, it's so
Oh, the story's
cheesy.
fun.
It's so
Oh my
cheesy,
God.
but it's so hype.
The last like 3 fights. It's 1 fight, but it's like 3 or 4 fights, and it's just like, this is awesome.
So I'm a little bit out of the loop here. What's the controversy involving Tekken 8?
Bronson
So-
is the best.
People
Go
paid a
ahead.
lot of money but don't get the stage.
Oh,
The specific
yeah,
stage, and
there's
so a
that
lot of
one
them
too.
are pissed about that.
Yeah, so there's kind of 2 controversies about that game right now. You have one that is the DLC is kind of gross, how they're monetizing it, where they're like, you get a season pass, but it doesn't include the stage, and it also doesn't include the battle pass. So that was kind of gross, and a lot of people didn't like that, along with a bunch
Isn't
of other
that the point
monetization
of a
shit.
season pass?
No, season
That is the
passes.
point.
Season passes in fighting games typically just give you characters and or stages.
Yeah, but season passes in general give me all the stuff that come out. I pay now, and the stuff that come out, I get it.
Yes, I agree. This is dumb and it's bad, and they shouldn't have done it this way. But they wanted to make the monies, I guess. And then the other thing in it, and the other thing in it comes down to like balancing. So basically, they made the game kind of a 2-touch game where if you can confirm into 2 hits, you can kill almost anyone. And a lot of the roster, at least in the higher levels of play, like kind of above where anyone in our community is, I would say Kyrie is probably the guy who is the closest to being in this range, where you can kind of boil the roster down to like 8 characters in competitive play. Right. Like, if you go look at any major, like if you go on event hubs and you track majors, it's like, boy howdy, Dragunov is still really good, huh? We have, what was Evo top 8? Like 6 Dragunovs?
There's like 6 Dragunovs, and then, yeah, a couple weirdo characters, but like...
Yeah, and then Nina.
Oh, man. Yeah, Nina. There's the one Nina with... Yeah.
And then you have, like, slight complaints about the, like, community being like, this doesn't feel like Tekken because of how aggro it is. Because it's a lot more an offensive game now. Which is great for me, because it's the one time I finally will play willingly Tekken for more than, like, 2 weeks. So, for me, it's been awesome.
As someone who played Tekken 7 and then Tekken 8 casually, I don't feel there's enough of a change. It's like, not in like a bad way. I'm just like, this still feels like Tekken to me. It's still very Tekken compared to other fighting games. You kidding?
Oh yeah, it is still very Tekken. Like but it's still
are very sensitive to those minute details.
Yes, but like, you know, when you go and you look at like the tier list right now, it's like Dragunov, Yoshimitsu, Nina. There you go. You're gonna see a lot of that. You're gonna see a lot of Jin. You're gonna see a lot of Chainsaw Girl. Jesus, I'm forgetting her name.
Oh,
We have like 3 people who main her in the Discord.
Just watched the whole video about her too.
good.
On the upside of things, my main is no longer bottom tier. He's mid tier now.
Yeah,
hey, all right.
Hey, so that's nice. But yeah, like that's the controversy about it is the more competitive scene is kind of a mess right now, and then the way they handle microtransactions kind of sucks. Really badly.
Well, it sounds like everybody is on Tekken except you who is on Marvel.
pretty much.
And me.
There's 2 people on Marvel.
Right, that's true. There's 2 people on Marvel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Marvel, and one man single-handedly almost took down
That's
the
true.
game.
For that, I am comfortable
that's
with the
impressive.
vote going towards Marvel.
All right, Marvel in a 3-2 split. I hope it wins, so maybe Capcom will be like, "Huh, maybe we should make a new Marvel game. Maybe we should talk to Disney."
I would like to try that game and then eventually buy it.
I bought a copy for the PC and I bought my hard copy for the PlayStation, and just so there's a chance at them making another, I want to buy a Switch copy. I'm like sitting here being like, how many copies do I need to buy, Capcom? How many? Yeah.
10.
They don't have much
A
single player
whole
content on
10.
that, right?
It's mostly arcade mode, and I want to say Time Attack. That's kind of
weird. All right.
yeah. The arcade mode's fun. I've enjoyed it. I'm thinking about going for the platinum of beating the game with every single character. So.
Good lord.
Yeah. So best family game. For the best game appropriate for a family play, irrespective of genre or platform: Astrobot, Princess Peach Showtime, Super Mario Party Jamboree, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and The Plucky Squire. The only one of these games that's I actually disagree, because when I think of family play, I think of playing that with your family. Like, oh, you go to Thanksgiving, all the cousins are around, we're gonna play a video game, Smash. You know, the only one of these games that's multiplayer is fucking Mario Party.
Right.
It's a pretty cool Mario Party.
I heard
That's fair. I cannot bring myself to give Nintendo any of my money.
That's fair.
I like it that Donkey Kong, you go around and you go, ooh, and then he gets to start, he's like, oh.
It's good. And then you add alcohol to it, and it's the best game ever.
Exactly!
Can we really say that Mario Party is a good family game when what it does is it destroys families?
The part,
yeah.
It's the
It
only
tests bonds.
It does. You know what? That's a good way to put it.
All right. I mean, fine. I will switch my vote to Mario Party
It's
for
the
just
only-
the pure chaos.
And it's also the only game here that, like I said, you can actually play with your fucking family. All these are single player.
Yeah, it's
That's
not
a
like
weird way to go about best family game.
Like, well,
I mean,
it's
I guess
appropriate for family
you could
play.
argue that, you know, a couple families sit around and watch the little kid play the game. Yeah, and I don't know how different that is from us just putting Twitch on one monitor and just watching other people play games.
When
But
I
don't know-
was a kid,
but I don't think that encourages
If that's the case, then
interaction with
every
your family.
game is family game.
when I
Yeah.
was a kid, I would have much preferred that my family play Mario Party with me.
And it's a lot better for
than
interaction
watch
that
me
way too.
play Zelda.
Comment
I
in the-
will have you know, sir, that was probably for the best that you did not. We have had many of family squabble and fist fights because of that game. And Mario Kart.
So comment in the chat. Agreed. If it says fun for the family, that has to be playable for more than one person. That's where it falls apart for me. Like, yeah, you can watch a kid play Plucky Squire and have a good time, like get a good laugh. And yeah, Astrobot like is cool, but like, you know, like I think that like it's the only one you can actually play with your family.
I mean,
As-
I can
as
see
long-
a definition of. I can see a definition of like you buy this one game, and anyone in your family, regardless of gender, age, whatever, can pick it up and enjoy it. I
That's
could
Call
see
of
that
Duty also.
definition,
I'm
and
also
by that
thinking about-
definition,
Yeah.
I bet Astrobot would win. But
Yes,
Was
if
this
it's my
just an orphan
That's like a
joke?
lot of different games is because, it's like I'm 14 and I want to play Grand Theft Auto. Best family game. Everyone wants to play Grand Theft Auto 6 when it comes out.
The only game
right.
I have
Yeah.
ever played with my whole family sitting together is Diablo 3 and Halo Reach. So
also
It's a
I've done
great family game.
I have done the thing where like I went to a cousin's house for Thanksgiving once, and like they were like playing Ocarina of Time. We were watching them. That experience sucks. It does. It sucks. It sucks. You just want to play a game and you're just like watching it. No, It sucks. No, Mario Party.
Unless they're really bad, then it's funny. I like doing that.
You know, they really should have named this Best Orphan Game.
Oh. Yeah.
Comment in the chat: Mario Kart, Wii Sports, and Smash Bros. In my family. Like we did we did GoldenEye when I was really young. That wasn't bad. Halo. Mario Party wasn't.
I feel like sometimes I look at like best family. I'm like best kids game is what it's about. Is it?
Yeah, I think
it
that's what
like?
it really means. It says appropriate for family play. I think what it means is like inoffensive to sensitive palates.
Well, then they need to change their
Mario
definition.
Party definitely is. Yeah. I disagree with Selena. Mario Party not being that chaotic. I mean, some of those mini games, and you get into full-on fucking arguments for hours.
I would say the shit
2 years.
talking that happens in a Mario Party game is intense.
I had a friend.
It is rigged. One person will be guaranteed to roll a 1 every time.
I had a friend of mine.
And they will be salty.
I had a friend of mine who we did a 4-player Mario Party game, and I didn't want to be mean, so I did a star steal, but I chose random. I said pick whoever because I just want a star because everyone has one. She was upset for me for like 5 years after that about it.
You picked random.
I know.
Member that I know. One of my family members has an eternal hatred for Daisy because of how much Daisy kept doing bad things to her in Mario Party 4. An entire legacy of a Mario character has been destroyed because of Daisy
cannot
in Mario Party 4.
Talk about Mario Party without mentioning that Dokapon Kingdom is a much better version of this and creates much greater rage. I can't come on the podcast and not mention the deep rage that Dokapon Kingdom creates and the fact that it doesn't have games coming out and isn't like on this list because the fact that it doesn't have a new game and isn't anywhere for any awards is crazy to me. Dokapon Kingdom should be everywhere.
I want to say that Duncan's Dokapon Kingdom is like Marvel to me. It's
yeah, exactly. I'm saying Mario Party never made anyone that I know bloody their fists on the concrete. Okay, Dokapon Kingdom did do that.
I don't think it's family friendly for people to bloody their fists, though. So
that's fair.
It creates a bond of hardship.
Okay, so we're going to Mario Party.
Mario Party it is.
Mario Party. Move on.
You can actually play with other people.
Next category is the Anthony category. Best sim/strategy game. Best game focused on real-time or turn-based simulation or strategy gameplay, irrespective of platform. That is Age of Mythology Retold, Frostpunk 2, Kinitsugami Path of the Goddess, Manor Lords, and Unicorn Overlord.
I have played all of these. I've played all of these.
I have one quick question. Do you think I would like Unicorn Overlord?
Unicorn Unilord.
Jesus.
That's a little corny.
Yes, Unicorn Overlord.
I don't think the vanillaware magic is enough to make up that the rest of the game feels like a pretty standard tactical RPG game.
Okay, good to know.
It doesn't have the most engaging story. It's a typical Lost Prince builds an army to get back his kingdom. But it has the vanilla art and animation magic with it and decent enough music, but it just doesn't have enough of it to make up for the rest of it.
What are your thoughts on Frostpunk? I've heard good things about that.
If you want to know what politics is like and how people can go down deep bad decisions in the name of an objective and not consider the ramifications of the consequences. It is a fantastic game.
Oh, so
Because you go to the Reddit and people are just like, what do you mean that, we're going to have like people dying if I completely optimize the workplace to monitor every foot movement and break that they take? What do you mean? What do you mean having a secret police is going to make people disappear and everyone's going to think I'm crazy when I call out the secret police and yet I'm the one who enacted the secret police in? What do you mean? It kind of shows like a lot of people, and I'm kind of like, it kind of reveals a lot, like maybe the thinking of a lot of people in power that you may or may not like in life is because there's an objective they want to go for, but they don't think about the long term or ramifications of your decisions. Yeah. So that's Frostpunk 2. I love the game. I think the tutorial could be a little better. It doesn't highlight stuff very well, but if you want to know like how terrible of a political leader you are, because
I want to know how specifically I'm terrible at being a political leader.
Because, well, here's the thing. The
Well,
objective,
that game is
the
also on
objective-
Game Pass. I have it downloaded. I just haven't started it yet.
the objective of the game is the city must not fall. Your job is to keep the city alive. And when you play on harder difficulty settings, you're going to have to make decisions to keep the city alive. Because if it collapses, you fail. The city falls. So you're going to like enact some stuff that you will not be okay with to make sure your city survives. Like in my case, it's like I gotta grow the population, or else like I'm not gonna have enough people to run these goods factories. All right, mandatory marriages, better than rotating relationships, but mandatory marriages. And then you have like some radical laws. Hey, would you like a thought correction asylum? Get people to. And you got to keep your factions happy too, because there's like 4 or 5 different factions you got to keep happy, or else like if one side gets too angry, they're gonna protest and shut down parts of your city.
Seems like a cool game.
If you want to know what being in business management or being in like government leadership is like, and trying to keep people happy, but also try to get your agenda across, that game reveals so much. And again, like the shocking thing is, people are like, in my perspective, I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna like enact these radical laws. That's crazy. But a lot of people are like, I need to grow the population, mandatory procreation, and then they're shocked to find out what that caused later on. And you're gonna feel terrible. But
I'm gonna have to play this
Mandated
game. That sounds awesome.
Now.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Also on Game Pass.
Welcome to what it's like handling people. So anyways, as you can imagine, that's my favorite. My pick is to Frostpunk 2. Matter Lords, I don't think it's finished yet. I'm very curious to see where that's going to be developed, but it's kind of too early, and being a one-person development effort, there's a lot to do still. Kasinogami, that's like a side-scroller-ish. I don't know if I want to call it hack and slash, mixed with you like assigning classes to the villagers to help defend the stuff while getting the maiden to the objective. It's quite different.
So I actually did play this one. Do y'all remember Brutal Legend?
Yep.
Yes.
It is basically the gameplay of Brutal Legend, but in like Japanese mythology.
You're like running around, and then when battles happen, you can go into aerial mode and.
Like, not as much that, but like it is very much an RTS, but you are a commander that's on the battlefield. Is the best way I would describe it.
Okay.
Yep.
It's a very interesting take. It's a very interesting take.
Sounds like this is a Frostpunk 2 category.
It is. Age of Mythology. That is a remake of a spin-off of Age of Empires from the late 90s. So think Age of Empires, but now you've got like gods interfering with stuff.
But it's
I would say
Cleopatra, or it looks like.
Yeah, Cleopatra, and you've got Egyptian, Greek, Roman gods backing you up. So that's pretty crazy. So I would say, like, if you're looking for a lot of depth and something that's the most traditional RTS type of game, obviously Age of Mythology is a really good one. But for me, I'm going Frostpunk 2.
Yeah.
Frostpunk 2.
Here's the thing, Frostpunk 2. Yeah, Frostpunk 2 came out like just over a month before the elections. And just having played this game and having seen all the reactions from the United States elections, oh boy, it kind of is a bit eye-opening. So,
well,
yeah.
All right.
So if any of you ever want to think about going to management or public service or something like that, do play this game and realize how terrible you can be, or
Yeah.
cold
Or have
you
to
can be. Or have to be, and how insensitive or sensitive you are to it. It's something. So good job on them. So funny thing is, Frostpunk 1 was about like coal as an energy resource. Frostpunk 2 was discovering oil and steam. And so I'm like, okay, so if you guys make Frostpunk 3, we're going to nukes now, yes?
Yeah.
Nuclear power, but also have nuclear
Oh.
weapons. I really want the studio to explore Frostpunk 3 looking at nukes and nuclear energy as a whole. That would be that's another huge moral dilemma.
And
but yeah, there you go.
cannibalism.
And,
All right.
yeah. All right.
Yeah,
That's all.
Cannibalism power is
Nukes
my
and
personal
not have
favorite.
cannibalism.
All right. Next category:
Snowpiercer.
best sports racing for the best traditional and non-traditional sports and racing game. We have F1 24, EA Sports FC 25, NBA 2K 25, Topspin 2K 25, WWE 2K 24. I am shocked.
This is the EA versus 2K
2K.
category because it got
Yeah,
sport locked
and-
down.
I am honestly shocked that college football is not on here.
I'm in 100% agreement with you on that one based off of everything that we've covered with those two games,
Yeah.
F1 and college football, which F1 and college football weren't they the highest grossing game that Sony had going, or who was it?
It's the highest grossing game of the year. It is the best selling game of the year too. So it's weird that it's not on here. I
like it.
What?
I said I guess the judges don't like it.
Which is weird because I played it and it was great. I really enjoyed it. It's what I expected out of a really good college football game. Out of this list, I don't know, F1 24 seems really good.
Yeah, I mean that's where my vote's going to be. I have not enjoyed a wrestling game since the Nintendo 64.
Dwarf Wolf Dad in the chat clearly concurs about your take on college football.
He does. I'm not like the biggest sports team guy. I mostly like football games, but like, so like out of this list, yeah, like I feel like F1.
Game have car. Car, I think better.
Car
Car-
go fast. Very
Car,
fast.
we think better.
Left and right.
F1 24 for best sports and racing. All right, moving on.
I don't play
Hey,
sports. but
racing.
Game,
Hey, let's go with
game
that.
have
Yes.
car.
Yeah.
So car.
Car go
Car.
fast. Car can't crash.
Car also go left and right. Car not go in circle.
Yes.
Yeah,
All right.
we do go left and right.
All right.
Best multiplayer.
Best
Car
multiplayer.
go vroom.
Oh,
Exactly.
gee.
Dead wolf.
For outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game, genre, or platform. Warhammer...
There's no MMOs on this list.
That's correct. We have Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Mario Party Jamboree, Tekken 8, Warhammer, Space Marine 2.
I want to say Call of Duty, but because of their multiplayer their multiplayer maps are still fucking trash. I'm gonna have to go with Helldivers.
Yeah, I'm saying
Again,
Helldivers.
better moments, more fun, better armaments, and
Yeah.
they have like the map doesn't fucking matter. It's just if you survive, depending on your difficulty.
Some of those Helldivers moments that I clip from our streams are some of my favorite moments of this entire year.
Yep.
The run, run.
Let's launch an ICBM, but Aaron's standing a little too close, so he's blowing off his feet. I'm blowing off my feet. Bronson, who was about to throw a 360, gets blown off his feet and drops the 380 orbital. Gets on his feet, realizes that he dropped the orbital, which means his ship is going to start bombing us. And so he screams, "I dropped the orbital! Run!" I run. He runs. Aaron's the first one that gets hit by an orbital.
Yeah.
That sounds
For me,
That's great. Good game.
That's not even the best one. The best one, I feel so bad for Aaron, is like Anthony throws a 240, and I'm just like, and he's like, "Be careful of going in there." And I'm like, "Oh, I'll be fine. Don't worry about it." And then it immediately hits Aaron, who's not even in the drop zone.
Doesn't make any sense.
So for me, it's the same lean as before, where I lean Space Marine, but obviously, Helldivers is great. Helldivers is incredible. But I will take this opportunity to mention that I actually found Space Marine's PvP multiplayer really fun.
PvP.
Yeah, it was completely unexpected, and a lot of people were talking about when the multiplayer for the PvP came out, that they were like, oh, actually, it's like weirdly a lot of people are playing this, and it's actually pretty fun. It's not a game that felt like it had good like gameplay for PvP in general, given how slow your character is. But it made it feel really different from everything else in the shooter market, on top of having a melee aspect for sort of like a different approach that you can come in on occasionally. And it worked out for a really fun experience. I also was really good at it, I guess, because I had one night for like actually 11 hours. I didn't lose a single game. It was crazy. There were issues with it that made it more fun for me. And it's that their matchmaking was horrible. Their matchmaking was horrible because it didn't rematchmake you after matches. You just stayed with the same group of people, and there was no skill-based matchmaking at all. So you would, it was only connection-based. So you would just get into a match, and it wouldn't resync you if you lost the game, if you were absolutely completely blown out, which is how I ended up spending 11 hours just winning. Because I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave because I was still winning, and it was just the same guys. It was just the same guys. I was sitting there and just blowing out for like a whole day.
And they just stuck with it, huh?
They just stuck with it. They just didn't leave.
Wow.
All right.
And it was just like, this is hilarious. I'm just coming in here, and it's like I'm fighting toddlers. And that made the game really fun for me. The fact that if you are above average in that game, the poor matchmaking means you're going to get way crazier matches. Further, they didn't have any good respawn control. So a lot of games will obviously prevent you from respawning right next to a person so that you don't just immediately die. Space Marine had a system for that, but it wasn't working right. Spawns would flip if most of the enemy team was in your spawn. But if only one person of the enemy team was in your spawn, you just continue to spawn there, and you spawn in one enclosed box. So if you just stand behind where they spawn, the game has a short loading screen every time you die. Just a little one. You fade into black and it's reloading the area that you're being dropped into. But if you didn't have a good computer, that meant that you would die before you could see the game again.
So two things. Comment in the chat regarding Aaron in Helldivers. Sounds as unlucky as Moxie in Hell of a Boss. And then... Now I want to play Helldivers. Like, I'm not gonna lie, having that conversation about Helldivers kind of made me want to play Helldivers as well.
It's great.
It's War Marines and Helldivers.
Cool. Yes.
The downside is War Marines you can only have, I think,
3. I think it's 3. Yeah.
Like 3 total people.
Yeah. That was
whereas Helldivers, I think it's 5.
4. I thought it was 4.
4.
I do have to say the Tekken 8 multiplayer was fantastic, though. We had a fucking great time. Every time we did Fight Night for Tekken 8, it was a blast.
Their lobbies, yeah.
Yes, their lobbies blow real hard. They're really bad. And the fact that, like, I went and did some multiplayer of that game recently to test out the wired connection that's in here now for the PS5, and I was like, oh no, this is still the game's fault now. 1,000 up, 1,000 down fiber, wired in, and it's still... You will still run into lag matches. Okay.
Good.
Alright, but yeah, Helldivers 2 it is.
All right.
All right. Best Adaptation, recognizing outstanding creative work that faithfully and authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium. Arcane, Fallout, Knuckles, Like a Dragon, Yakuza, and Tomb Raider: The Legend of Lara Croft.
I want to see Tomb Raider. Knuckles is great. Fallout was amazing.
That Fallout show was dope, dude. That was a really good show. And I'm not even a Fallout fan. I just really like the show.
I haven't watched any of these, but I know that Arcane is on my watch list, and the rest, I'm like, maybe I'll get to them. But Arcane seems really, really good.
I watched...
As much as I love Reno, I have to give it to Fallout. Goes up in Reno.
Yeah.
I watched an episode of Like a Dragon. It seems cool, but yeah, I have to give it to Fallout.
Okay.
I haven't seen any of them.
Fallout is great. Moving on.
Not giving those League of Legends players shit.
Most anticipated.
Fuck them League of Legends players. Alright, so most anticipated game, recognizing an announced game that has demonstrated illustrated potential to push the medium forward. Monster Hunter Wilds,
Potential.
Metroid Prime 4, Death Stranding 2 On the Beach, Ghost of Yotei, Grand Theft Auto 6.
I'm most excited for Death Stranding because it's Kojima's silly guy. He's silly guy. GTA 6 clearly.
It's GTA 6. Come on.
What are we talking about here?
Come on, GTA 6. Let's go.
Legacy always, like, even when GTA 5 was like anticipated. Like, I remember being in high school and being like, oh, maybe this year we're gonna fucking hear about it. Maybe this year. And then as an adult, GTA 6 transferred into that. Like, this year we're gonna finally hear about it. This year. And then we got the trailer and it was like,
it's so unfathomably gigantically expected. It's like it's the this before GTA 6 being a phrase that people use is crazy.
Right. All the other games, they're great, and I want to play all of them except Metroid because Nintendo can just suck my left nut. I only play free-to-play games on that system.
Your hatred of Nintendo.
We don't have enough time to go down
what did Miyamoto do to your family?
We've been on this podcast for so long. We'll another episode, another podcast.
All right, go on.
So for me, it's been so long since GTA 5 that for me personally, GTA 5 is not the most anticipated because it's just been so long. They've been sitting on GTA Online money for a long time. So I kind of almost feel like, are people going to GTA 6 because they actually want to see what's in GTA 6, or they're just looking for the next GTA Online 2?
That is what it is. They want GTA Online, but it's now focused on RP. That's what they want, which is purportedly what it is. Apparently, the next GTA Online is very specifically dedicated to GTA RP guys.
Okay, so
for me,
it is Florida Online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever wanted to be Florida man? This is your chance.
Yeah, so like for me, like I've never been too invested in Metroid Prime, even though I tried to get through Metroid games. It's like for me, my personal most anticipated is Ghost of Yotei. GTA 6, of course, is probably going to win the awards, and it's going to make like $1 billion in its first hour going live. But it's just been so long that I'm just not really sure what GTA is at this point.
See,
or if my memory's that good.
For 20 years, though.
I do hope though.
Playing this one for 20 years.
Oh, I'm absolutely. I just wasn't huge on GTA Online, and it was so broken that I couldn't understand what was good about it because I could see so little of it.
The heists.
The last time we played it,
with the hover bike. I mean, the orbital. Oh, right. I'm that asshole that ruins that playing experience for everyone.
I think the last time I played it was
he runs me over and I just hit him with the orbital laser.
Yeah, last time I played it online, I think was with Bronson and Aaron and one other person back in 2020 when Epic Games was giving out GTA 5 for free just to get people, just to try and pull people away from Steam.
Online.
Yeah. And
and we did all the heists.
Really seen it since.
We did all the heists, and I never wanted to do it again. I was just like,
there's
awesome.
I did a montage video of our failings of that one bank heist that took us like 100 tries, and we bugged it out. And we bugged it out.
Death Stranding 2 has a lightning guitar.
Sure does.
Well, you sold me. All right. GTA 6 still.
Okay, I am literally excited for all these games, and I'm probably going to buy all of them. But
love me my Monster Hunts.
Monster Hunter is going to be a great game. That's going to be on the stream at some point next year. Metroid Prime 4
running poorly.
Well, here's hoping they get that fixed. Yeah. So sorry, what?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think this is gonna be the first Monster Hunter I've ever actually played because I've been curious about playing Monster Hunter in the past, but might as well just start with this one.
Yeah, I think it seems like a good starting point. Ghost of Yotei.
The newest one is always the best starting point.
I mean, a lot of games are like that.
Yeah, Monster Hunter for sure.
Yeah. Ghost of Yotei looks like an amazing sequel, and Death Stranding.
Yep.
I'm curious about, but like generally, the game I am most excited for is still GTA 6 because I loved Red Dead 2, and like the thought of like, okay, taking the level of detail and quality of Red Dead 2, but even making the tech even crazier and applying it to Grand Theft Auto, like, sounds amazing. It sounds absolutely amazing. Like, so, all right. Anyway, so
I'm gonna fight so many gators.
You fight a lot of gators in Red Dead, also. So the next category is Content Creator of the Year. I don't know any of these people. No idea.
No idea.
I've been seeing Queso all over like Reels and TikTok stuff and things like that. That's the only one I recognize Pecora over here as well.
I
recognize does not want to win. Queso actively doesn't want to win this category.
And we should vote for him.
Which is why he's going to win.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. He's talked about how he really just doesn't want to deal with all the excessive hatred and attention that has gone towards the content creator of the year every other year. Recently, a big YouTuber, CDogVA, released a video talking about how the last year's winner, Iron Mouse, got like an insane amount of crazy backlash for winning the category.
How can you hate Iron Mouse? He's so nice.
It's because there are people who like irrationally like hate VTubers. They think the concept itself sucks, and they will harass people.
It's not just that, but my person didn't win, so I'm going to harass the one that won because they didn't deserve it.
You know what?
That's what all
I vote me in this. I want that. I want that.
Okay, hold on.
My inbox just fucking fill, and I will
also.
Never
it could also be, a smaller number of people using bots and whatever other else to just spam people into oblivion.
Dwarf Wolf Dad knows it's Queso is probably gonna win.
Yeah. So comment in the chat. Honestly, never played a Monster Hunter. Well, this is a great time to start. We're gonna have a bunch of people in the Discord
Monster
playing
Hunter's
it.
Great. It's always good. It's always great. I love Monster Hunter. You swing the big sword, and it go gonk.
See, I do the
you hit the T-Rex and the Kulweka.
I do the two tiny swords and go whooshy 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 whooshy. So I mean, it sounds like
is obviously my content creator of the year, though. Good, love me some Pecora. I use her for Japanese practice occasionally. This is also a clear case that she is only here because of Kojima. Hideo Kojima has such powerful influence over the Game Awards that his favorite content creator, of course,
is the best friend of
of course, he's the best friend. So of course, his favorite content creator is nominated at least for content creator of the year. And I'll say that these guys are like massive. I think Pecora is the smallest creator here, but it's the only one I know.
Okay, so I'm okay voting for Pecora. As much as I would love to see
Pecora.
Queso, as much as I want to see Queso win, because I think that sounds hilarious. I'm like, God damn it! Now I have to go out and do the thing.
I mean, look at that picture. That is just winning.
Yeah. Just outside a Waffle House, middle of the night, doesn't know where he is.
He is literally just a dude in a hoodie with a shitty webcam, and you gotta respect that.
Okay, who does everyone want to vote for?
Creators just look the same.
Yeah.
Who do we want to vote for here?
I'm voting Pecora, though she is the most corporate out of all of these people. The other 4 creators are just dudes who have built a brand. She's like got a fucking production agency behind her.
Right.
That guy didn't even take any effort to come up with a catchy name. He's just typical gamer. Techno gamer. I can't even pronounce the other one.
Doesn't he have like 43 million subscribers or something?
It's
Isn't
nuts.
he like
He's
unfathomably huge?
He's huge. Like I recognize the name, so I pulled up his YouTube. He has 15.4 million subs. And it looks like
I think it's Techo Gamers that is the giant one.
I've never heard of him. I've heard of Typical Gamer, but that
not an English speaking creator.
That would be why. Okay.
Like I think he speaks English, but he's not English primary.
Okay, so all right. So where do we want to go with this?
I mean, I'm okay with the VTuber. I think that the
VTuber vote.
I think that the hate that VTubers get is
pretty insane.
For. I'm actually considering getting a VTuber model.
Getting your model
for me.
Nice.
Only because some days I don't want to put on pants, and because
exactly you don't, dude.
I shouldn't have to wear pants.
Move your camera up, bro. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, but I get up and walk around sometimes. Plus, I have my workout things that I.
All right. So, best esports game: Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, League, Mobile Legends, Bang Bang, and Valorant.
None of these. I'm voting Astrobot.
I don't know. Every year we usually vote Counter-Strike as the old man vote.
Yeah, let's do that.
I'm for that.
Sounds like Bang Bang. Is Bang Bang a new one?
Yeah.
I don't know what that game is.
I don't even know what it is.
I've heard about it a lot. Like people are talking about it, but it's another one of those.
Funny name.
Probably.
Gotta give it that funny name. Mobile Legend Bang Bang.
Alright, so this one is best esports athlete, and unless we actually know anyone who's here, we just kind of vote for whoever looks
the only name I've ever heard. The only name I have ever heard here is Faker.
Same, but I want to vote for the dude.
I don't know who that is, but I've heard him.
I want to vote for the dude whose name is just a number, 33.
That is pretty
go
good.
for it.
Yeah, vote 33.
Plus, he's like a white Markiplier.
Sure.
See,
33.
I don't know how to say his name, but Alexib? Look at it. This man has villain energy. I like it.
That's true. That's true. He's kind of villainous.
Alright, so I'm voting 33. Who do you guys want to vote for?
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, I'm on 33.
Yeah, 33. Great. So best esports team. Funnily enough,
these first 2 pictures look like they're kind of trying to look like a boy band, but not pretty enough to be a boy band. But here's esports.
Don't know any of these guys. Gen G. I like Gen G. Going with them. They're dressed like a boy band. Funny name.
We voted for 33. Why not go for Team Liquid? He's right there.
So so the thing is, Team Liquid, I actually know who they are, but not for the reason they're listed here. And I know them because they were also the team that won the Race to World First for the new WoW raid.
Okay, so for good reasons then.
Yes, so recognize it, but this thing is recognize a specific esports team, not the full org, judged by the most outstanding performance. I don't know who. I don't care. Gen G sounds.
Team Liquid is my vote.
All right,
we could just pick Navi because they play Counter-Strike.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, there we go. Pick
yeah,
Counter
true,
Strike.
true,
Fine.
It's like 3 league teams, 1 Dota 2 team, and 1 Counter Strike team.
Counter Strike 1999. Old man pick. All right, hold on. Let me get back to the. All right, we're finally at Game of the Year. Also, notice they took out Best Esports Event, and I'm glad they did because I'm tired of Dota getting screwed. Or not Dota. I'm tired of Evo getting screwed and not winning it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring in enough people, I guess.
Final Game of the Year. Recognized game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. Astrobot, Balatro, Wukong, Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Metaphor Fantasio.
Astrobot.
I absolutely am voting for Astrobot, but I do want to have more of a discussion with this category.
I have hinted already that my pick is Balatro.
Uh-huh.
I love me my little jokers, my cards. The card go
You're
out.
joking.
The little song. It's good. It's a good game.
The clown porn.
Clown porn, like what they.
God damn it. You're lucky I like you. Otherwise, I'd upper deck your toilet and then run away like I do in D&D.
Aaron, Anthony.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. This is a year where I have not played any of these Game of the Year candidates.
What would you do for a Klondike bar? Go
Not
with
much.
Astrobot.
Not a big fan of Klondike bars. They're fine.
The only thing on this list made by one guy is Balatro.
That's fair.
The only game on this list that I played the entire time and had a good time the entire time is Astrobot.
It's
Right.
platinum worthy. We've heard. He's platinumed it.
I did go out of my way to platinum it. It is correct.
And I will as well when I get the game.
So yeah.
I do think that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth shouldn't be nominated here, but that's a.
But they're sometimes a fan base being extremely powerful has a way of influencing things.
But man, how much engagement would you farm about people being tilted that game isn't nominated?
Yeah.
If Keeley wanted to play the meta,
just hate baiting.
Yeah. But no, like
people to watch your award show.
At this top row here.
Well, that was an image I did not want in my head.
But
Baiting.
I'm legitimately like I think the combat in Rebirth is great and it's the best looking game of the year, easily. But I like as far as tech goes. But I think that it is padded. The story is fine, and of course it ends on a cliffhanger because it's a part 2, and it also it feels like the open world parts of that game feel like the worst parts of traditional open world games. Like you climb the tower, it reveals the map, you walk through literal giant fields to go do stuff. Sometimes that stuff is fun. Most of the time it's busy work. And then, every now and then you get some really cool variety stuff. Like, the beach episode chapter was a lot of fun. That chapter was super fun. The gold saucer stuff also really well made, but, overall, the game just kind of felt just bloated. It felt like you could have trimmed out, a third of that game, and I would not have noticed or given a shit.
Given the fact that Final Fantasy VII is an entire franchise at this point, would you say that would you say it feels more like a game that is made for people to enjoy or made for the fans to enjoy?
I definitely think it's for fans, just because it's a part 2 of a 3-part story.
Because sometimes I get with the original remake, I was kind of concerned that's I was getting the impression they were making the remake to suit what the nostalgia and the fantasy of the game was to the fans, not what it actually was in 1996,
97.
Seems to me, I was gonna say, it seems to me like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the second third of one game that is being made titanically large
yes,
for fans of Final Fantasy VII.
And the thing is like they changed certain stuff about it and like made a kind of a new story. So it's like this weird hybrid of yes, it's a remake, but yes, it's also its own thing. And like, yeah, I think you can enjoy this game without knowing anything about original Final Fantasy VII. Well, not knowing anything, but knowing the basic plot of, like, you just need to know the basics of this is what happened. You can get it in like a 4-minute YouTube video. But like, it very much feels like you at minimum need knowledge of that plot, and to get the most out of it, you had to have played through Final Fantasy VII. You know, like that's just. And I think there are other games you could have put in this spot that would have been just as good. I think Helldivers 2, I think Tekken 8, I think, like, it's the only game on this list that I would give a 3 out of 5. Everything else here would be a 4 out of 5 or a 5 out of 5. You know, like, so, yeah, if, you know, I think you would easily drop Erdtree. Like, I think Erdtree's great. But it, like, I already kind of got burnt out going through Elden Ring, so now they're like, here's 50 more hours of Elden Ring. I'm like, I'm good, bro. I'm so good.
Warpolt's dad says Sparking Zero ? And, I mean, funny game, but like,
I think
not game of the year.
I think Sparking Zero is a great Dragon Ball simulator. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But it is also very much a 3 out of 5 video game.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. It's a blast, especially if you're a Dragon Ball fan like I am. Like, I loved every minute. I got the platinum within a week and a half of owning it. Like, bro.
It eventually boiled down to I go into Sparking mode and I spam the X button until the last second where I do my super, and then I rinse and repeat that every single fight for the entire game.
And then,
because that's the most efficient way to get through it.
And then the best way to play online is to just cheese with low-tier characters that have Active Image Strike, and then having some ridiculous anchor character. So that's kind of where it falls apart. I think you could put Silent Hill 2 on this list. And you know, like I think that Erdtree is a great like DLC, and I get why people reviewed it well and like it, and I think that it is good to have on this list. Like, but it is also like it is definitely more Elden Ring.
It was the best FromSoft fight I've ever done.
Fair, all right. So. Yeah. Anyway, for me, it's otherwise like Wukong. I've only played 2 hours. I've really liked the 6 hours I've thrown at Metaphor. I've really liked the like 8 I've thrown at Balatro. But like Balatro, there will be some runs where I'm like, God, this fucking sucks. You know, and I hate this. Yeah. Versus like my entire time with Astrobot was like, I am having an amazing time. Doing this is super fun.
And there wasn't clown porn.
There was robot porn.
Porn isn't in Balatro. You have to go seek that out yourself. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, on the other hand, that's borderline pornography. They have a beach episode.
They do have a beach episode, and Tifa and Aerith are in bikinis.
And they're great. They're amazing.
I'm going right now.
Aaron, you seemed like you had words to speak.
So
no, I do not.
On the point that you're talking. So, Bronson, on the point that you talked about, like, oh man, this feels really bad. I'd be like, yeah, but a lot of games do that, and they're still amazing.
Yeah.
So what makes this this really sucks different? Because I don't know. There's very few games we can say I'm having a fun time all the time.
And that's why I think Astrobot is exceptional. It's like I am having a fun time all of the time. You know, versus like Balatro, you'll run into a bad run. And then, like, you'll somehow manage to get really far, but be screwed because you just have bad jokers or stuff didn't go your way, and you'd be like, cool, that was like a waste of 25, 30 minutes. You know, and that's kind of... And this is where all roguelites fall apart for me. Is, like, I feel like having to replay large sections of roguelites is fucking why I hate them. Balatro is just so good. Balatro is similar to Hades, because I loved Hades, is just so goddamn good that I am willing to put up with that part to get to the crazy shit that happens. I'm looking forward to a month from now when I actually get to play through all of Metaphor and a good chunk of Wukong, and I'm like, oh man, Metaphor, game of the year, right? But but as of right now, like, yeah, Astrobot, for the 16 hours it took me to get the platinum, is like, I had a great time. And the thing is, it's not an annoying platinum either. Like, so to platinum the game, you basically need to get all of the bots. That is not super hard. There's a handful of challenging levels that may, like, test you a little bit. But even then, I was having fun with those because they're not, like, super long. They're not like Star in Mario 3D World. They're like, you know, maybe a minute long. So they're like hard, but like once you get the pattern down, you're good. I think I can really only say one bad thing about Astrobot, and that is if you are looking for like a serious platforming challenge, like the secret worlds in Mario Wonder, for example, it doesn't have a whole lot of that. It has about 16 very short levels of that, and then it has one Grandmaster level that you need to beat to get the platinum. So if you're looking for like Mario 3D World, Mario Odyssey, like go do these mostly linear levels and find these rewards, great. But if you're looking for like, I want 3D Super Meat Boy, you will be disappointed. Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah. All right. Okay. Well, where's everybody at? Duncan, it sounds like you're Balatro, obviously.
One man and a dream.
I'm
much passion.
I am definitely Astrobot. That game is so fucking polished and good. And if you've been with PlayStation the entire time or most of the time, then it's also 16 hours of nostalgia, including levels that they model after full PlayStation games. Like, they have a level that's just Uncharted, but in Astrobot.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's sick. It's sick as fuck. You know. So, yeah. What about you, Lucy?
Oh, I'm definitely Astrobot.
All right, Aaron?
None of the other ones really interest me, other than Wukong, but I want to play that before I give a judgment. But I've played Astrobot, the one that came on the PlayStation. Absolutely loved it, and I know that this is going to be a great game.
Oh, the sequel's even better. Like, if you like that first one, you're gonna love this one. Like, it's so good.
Yeah.
All right, that leaves Aaron and Anthony.
I don't know much about these games. It sounds like it's between Astrobot and Balatro. I like the background of Balatro, what it brings. It sounds like it's new and interesting and from a small team, whereas Astrobot is coming from PlayStation and they're playing a lot on the history of PlayStation on top of making a fantastic platformer, which just doesn't happen anymore outside of Nintendo. Which is interesting and nice in its own way. It's hard to choose between these two. I'm inclined to go Astrobot just because I haven't touched Balatro myself, and so I couldn't. I know it's a different, interesting thing, but I just haven't touched it.
That really bounces a lot of people off. Sometimes you touch Balatro and you're like, ugh, no, it's just not interesting to me. So that that happens to some people. I think Astrobot is way less likely to do that.
Sure.
Yeah, I do agree with that in the sense that, like, I could see someone picking up Balatro and being like, this is weird, I'm good. Versus, like,
you get bad jokers on your first run, and it's just like, it went poorly, and then I immediately lost, and it's like, I don't care about poker stuff, that sort of thing.
Yeah, like, I was very fortunate that, like, my second run was, like, showed some of the crazier stuff off, and I was like, oh, and then I've played it off and on all week on my deck before bed. So like, yeah, like it's definitely. I like that. I do like that part of it. It would probably be my second choice.
It's a very complicated game too. There's a great YouTube channel out there that is Balatro University, that is just a guy very analytically teaching advanced strategy for the game, because it has an insane level of depth in its like skill ceiling. It's also very random, and that's just an unavoidable part of the game. But it's just insanely complicated and in depth.
All right. That leaves Anthony. Where are you going?
Yeah, so for me, for this one, I think Metaphor is the only one I played. But if I had to pick between Balatro and Astrobot, I would say Astrobot. The main reason is when it comes to the Game Awards is like kind of pretty much the most visible award show out there. And so like when you think of they're trying to be like the Grammys, Golden Globe, whatever other prestigious music and movie awards that are out there. So if you were to pick an example of this year to show to everyone else in the world who does and doesn't play games, this is how awesome video games can be. I think that case can make it a lot easier for Astrobot. Here's a fun little platformer that you can have fun with the whole time. It explores PlayStation's history. It is a fantastic well-rounder. And yeah, unfortunately, like more complicated, more technical, or more in-depth games kind of struggle with this because it's kind of hard to recommend a very in-depth thing to the masses. But like Astrobot, you can recommend it easily to anybody and easily show it to everyone else outside the industry also.
I think there's no universe where Balatro actually wins the category.
So the way they do these is they have a jury vote on it, and I'm gonna be real. Looking at like the games press, I could totally see this game winning. The only thing that kind of makes me...
I thought it was fan vote after a jury of people choose the nominations.
So the jury of people vote on it, and then a certain percentage is fan vote as well. So the majority still is the press outlets.
Yeah.
But
I could see the press leaning towards Balatro. They love that game.
Yeah,
it's a great game.
Now, that said, I actually think what I think is actually going to win here is going to be Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I
really?
think yes. And I'm going to be salty about it, but it is what it is. Because you look at it is the third highest rated game this year, funnily enough, behind Astrobot and Metaphor. But I think that Final Fantasy just has such like love and admiration, and the fact that it was kind of a soft year. Like there's no Baldur's Gate, there's no new Elden Ring. It's an expansion for an Elden Ring. Yeah, that makes it so I for some reason I have this feeling that Final Fantasy VII is gonna win. I
like Shadow of the Erdtree's chances on account of the fact that they changed the rules to include it.
Yeah,
I mean, if we're talking like mobs of fans here, yeah, it's like Elden Ring versus Rebirth, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like Persona is huge also, but this isn't a Persona game. This is a Metaphor game that's not made by the Persona studio.
Yeah,
it's made by one of the 3 Atlas studios that share that style of game.
Surprised got no nominations anywhere. Satisfactory wasn't on the list at all.
Yeah.
So I'm
gonna dip out. Starting to feel a little.
Yeah, man. Get some rest.
So...
Yeah, I get you.
Get some rest.
But thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I
made it through voting.
Yeah, so... I stayed in as long as I could. You guys take care, and I'll catch up with everything after.
Yeah, of course, bro.
Yeah,
thank you.
All right. Yeah. You guys take care.
Yeah. But it seems like Astrobot is our pick overall.
Yep. Astrobot is
I think so.
I'm curious to see what's going to win here. We had that, so that's actually the first news story though. Transitioning from this is is hey, there's some people who are fucking big mad about a DLC being included for Game of the Year. We had that discussion a long fucking time ago, and our solution was if there's enough new content and enough like fresh ideas here, fuck it, sure, why not?
Yeah.
And it's judged on the new content.
Yeah.
Right. The history behind this was The Witcher 3 Blood and Wine expansion.
Yep.
And so it's like, okay, and also like World of Warcraft has changed so much that every expansion might as well be considered a new game.
That is true.
So judge it on its new content.
Yeah. So so that people are upset about that. I haven't had a problem with it. My only like, and I think remakes are fine as well because there's some people upset about remake, and I'm just like, I don't care about remakes. What I care about is remasters. I don't think remasters should fit because that's just literally just here we up-resed it. So comment in Dwarf Wolf Dad. You made good arguments about Erdtree. I did have my vote there, but changed it to Astrobot. All right, yeah, we're influencing the people.
We are influencers.
Oh,
No.
Now I need to take a shower.
Yep.
All right, so we had a couple small, well, they're big news stories. That's why we're sneaking them in here at the end. Hey, Remedy reveals how many copies Control 2 and Firebreak need to sell to get 100% return on investment. Firebreak is their 3-player PvE shooter. That's coming out next year, supposedly, and it needs to sell 3 million copies over its lifetime to break even. And it has a $30 million budget. Small budget. And then this is with self-publishing, by the way. And then for Control 2, they need to sell 3 to 4 million copies, and it has a $50 million budget. And it's Firebreak is paced at mid-price. Control 2 is going to be a full AAA $70. So
certainly high barriers. That's a lot of copies. I think it's feasible to make happen, though.
Yes. So, Alan Wake 2 sold 1.8 million copies, and it still hasn't turned a profit, though it's very close. Yeah, and then as of September, it received a $15 million loan from Tencent as part of its self-publishing push. And also they're apparently working on remakes of the first 2 Max Payne games for Rockstar.
So that works out for them.
Please buy these fucking games if they're good, people. Please. This is exactly what people say they fucking want. These are creative, unique ideas. They're great video games, and they're, by the standard of AAA video games, cheap to make. Go buy these fucking games. You all say this is what you fucking want. Back it up. Go back it up, motherfuckers. Control was awesome. So was Alan Wake 1. So was Alan Wake 2. Go back it up. God damn it.
I see this phenomenon a lot of times in other industries where people say, I will only buy, I guess like the easiest example is like if you ask car guys, like really big car guys, what type of car they want, is like, I want a brown station wagon that's a diesel with a stick shift in it. And how many people actually show up? Well, not many. And it's partly because the loudest people sometimes is like the most enthusiastic group, which is also probably the smallest. Once in a while, you get a huge home run of something like Baldur's Gate 3, where everything is perfect. It's single player, the community loves it, the developers love it, but that almost feels like once a decade.
Circumstances.
Yeah, and so that's kind of like why sometimes, people make fun of the quote, you think you want it, but you don't. But the truth behind that saying it...
I was thinking, sometimes it's like that, though.
Yeah. So it's always kind of really tough when you have to like figure out who's saying it. because once you hit critical mass like Baldur's Gate 3, it's just going to go off, and that's incredible. But it's very easy to say a lot of things. Like, it's a nightmare when you're in product development or being a developer. Everybody says they want something, then you make it and they don't show up. Now what?
Yeah.
Was the big publishing company correct this whole time? Was their data better? So that's a pretty rough one.
Yeah.
I tried to get Alan Wake 2 though. Alan Wake 2 is there's a deluxe edition that includes the first game. I think that's like what, $50 right now.
It's $50 on sale on
right
Amazon.
So yeah, if you like Alan Wake 2, that's the most recent game. I bought my my copy of Control on PS4 last gen. I'm looking forward to Alan Wake 2. It just won't happen until January.
Bought Control and its DLC. Bought Alan Wake. Big fan. So, comment in the chat. I love that $30 million is a small budget for a AAA game. Yeah, absolutely. For a AAA game, $30 million is
only
a small
$30
budget.
million.
Only 30.
But here's the thing, though. If you've got 20 people who are each paid $50,000,
which is low for
salary
programmers,
for the year,
by the way. That's low for programmers.
Well, if you average it out among artists, developers, the manager.
Yeah,
$50,000 average across 20 people. That's already $1 million a year.
Yeah. So and
for
these
20 people,
and these are teams of probably 50 to 100 people. So
it's very easy to crest $1 million just in 1 year with 20 people.
And you times that by 3 to 4 for the years of development, and then the tools, the tech, the licensing, if you're licensing,
the marketing.
In the case of Remedy, they do the live action stuff blended into the game. So that easily gets to that point. And Anthony, I completely agree with you on that. People say they want self-publish because that is independent. People say they want creative new ideas, but 1.8 million barely breaking even isn't backing it up.
And talk is cheap, right?
Yep.
And it's like one of those things where, like, if you were in product research or product planning, you have to dig into who's saying it and what they mean when they say that. Because it's very easy to throw out a statement when you throw out a generic statement like, I like a game that's fun. Great. What kind of fun are you into? And it just goes way deeper into that.
I think when a lot of people say that, they're talking about like a Balatro.
Yes.
They're talking about, I want smaller games with smaller budgets.
But what if the person says, I want a game that's fun, but actually what his idea is fun is to play EVE Online regularly.
Right.
That's a very different kind of fun.
That's true. That's different. Very different person.
So this is probably one of the reasonings that led to the Amorphous Blob game in the last 10 years. The Ubisoft game where it's like, okay, we're going to make a fun game by literally doing everything. And now people don't want it because it's kind of stellar at nothing.
Yeah.
I think they're thinking, I want Control to be made by like 6 people and also not be lower in quality at all.
So they want shit that will never happen. The reality, I think like what the consumer wants, and pretty much every business understands, but they want everything for nothing. I want everything, and I want it to cost $1.
Yeah.
Which is an extreme, but that's what happens when you ask people, what do you want? It's like, well, I want a good deal. I want everything at a low price. And that's where a lot of compromises come in.
And sometimes it happens. Sometimes a game is great and cheap. You get surprised sometimes.
And then sometimes you get like people, and then you sometimes get companies like Apple or whoever else who are like, they want a faster horse, but what they want is a car. That's probably Henry Ford.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like one of those like nightmare things where it's like, hello, congratulations, welcome to the nightmare of product development. Yeah. What if you get it wrong? You probably are out of work then.
Control 1, and this news story is as of 5 days ago, sold 4.5 million copies. So they are fairly realistic with these numbers as well.
4 to 5 million. Yeah, I think that's feasible. The gaming industry, like, it used to be like 1 million was like a big deal, but the industry has gotten a lot bigger.
Yep. So And then that does not include the people who played it for getting it free on Plus or Xbox Gold or whatever. So, and they get money back from when people download those. So, yeah. So it seems like Alan Wake 2
for sure.
And Alan Wake 2 is going to make its money back, and it's going to continue to sell copies. It's probably never going to come to Steam, unfortunately, because it was published by Epic. Epic published the PC version, I should say.
This does remind me of why don't all the big publishers, if they love the money, why aren't they following the money of Baldur's Gate 3 and Nintendo and Alan Wake? And, I came up with like a joke list of excuses for each one of them. In the case of Remedy, it is a AA studio going bankrupt trying to be AAA.
Mm-hmm.
Making the best AAA games, and this kind of reveals that. It's like, yeah, these guys are kind of cash strapped continuously for a lot of their existence, but they're putting out amazing stuff that not enough people are buying. So I need to do my part and buy Alan Wake 2.
Everyone
I haven't gone
should.
through Alan Wake 1, and I love Quantum Break. I really like Control. So yeah.
Alan Wake.
Any of those games yet?
Alan Wake 1, Control, and Alan Wake 2 are all fantastic. They're all absolutely fantastic. I think that the DLC for Alan Wake 1 and the first DLC for Control are not particularly great. But otherwise, everything in that package is well worth the currently $50. I think it's $80 when it's full price. But yeah, so... alright, so next news story on the docket. Hold on. Hey, From Software parent company, Katakawa confirms Sony intends to buy it out, but no decision has been made at this time. So basically, Sony is looking to buy this company that owns a shit ton of anime along with From Software, which means they would have the rights to Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Armored Core. Yep.
I think the ejection of a bunch of YouTubers from the country of Japan.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so Katakawa owns a company called Geeks Plus that sponsors the visas of a lot of YouTubers who shift their content making to be about Japan in general. And it's a really easy, maybe we should cut that type of company, Geeks Plus. Because it's
so you're basically you're sponsoring YouTubers to promote Japan.
Yes. And they're like a talent agency style company, and it's a speculative venture that Katakawa is making into talent management. And because of that, it's kind of up in the air as to whether or not it's a big profitable thing. Because it's still being developed. I think it's been around the 3 years-ish. And 3 years into the life cycle of a talent management agency, there's no telling whether or not that thing makes money. Probably doesn't. And so Sony, who loves chopping things to pieces for cost-saving measures when acquiring things, Geeks Plus, to me, seems like one of the big things that would be on their chopping block in purchasing Katakawa, and they'd probably focus a lot more on the media publishing angle. Katakawa owns an unreasonable amount of the anime industry. I think Shonen Jump is under them.
I think that's what Bronson pointed out to me. It was like, yeah, they're buying it for the anime. It's just From Software. It's a little cherry on top. Yeah, in the gaming sphere, it's like, oh my goodness, Elden Ring is so huge. I'm like, yes, but do you know how huger anime is? And how much Katakawa has?
It's Shonen Jump they have. Like, it's the biggest thing in manga. It's huge.
Yeah, they are doing this to expand Crunchyroll and their manga in Japan. They are not doing this for From Software. From Software is great. That's a nice little fucking bonus. Like, hey, great, we get, hey, if we really want to, we can make Dark Souls and Elden Ring exclusive to us. GG's. Good time there. But like otherwise,
the arms race against Microsoft. We're gonna block Call of Duty, and then Sony's like, we're gonna block off Elden Ring.
Yeah,
or whatever fun games they start playing.
Yeah. So, I'm curious to see how this goes. I kind of hope it doesn't go through, because more consolidation in this industry and in most industries really isn't needed.
So, how
For
close
Kadokawa.
is Sony to owning a monopoly on anime media
Close.
after
So
this one? Because, like, are we talking about
insanely close.
antitrust law? Yeah, are we talking about antitrust law starting to happen now?
We are in
Being
America,
investigated.
not in Japan,
Yeah.
though.
Not in Japan, but definitely in the States, as something said.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, next up, last news story. Valve has a new policy.
Ooh,
Valve.
that sounds exciting.
Valve is implementing some new ground rules for how developers can offer season pass and DLC content in Steam, including on how to implement them as a developer and what required developers must meet in order to offer them for sale, including a rule about committing to certain launch timings and prohibiting numerous or extremely long delays. By offering a season pass, you are promising future content. In the process of launching a season pass, you'll be asked to commit to a launch timing for each content released in the season pass. That launch timing is a commitment both to customers and Steam. If you aren't ready to clearly communicate about the content in each DLC and when each DLC will be ready for launch, you shouldn't offer a season pass on Steam.
Is this like a hard rule or is it a suggestion guideline? Because I'm hearing you shouldn't do this.
Specifically, Steam now requires developers to include a complete list of all DLC included in a season pass, a basic description of content included in each, and an expected release window of at least the quarter or season and year expected. Additionally, developers are only allowed to self-reschedule their release date one time for the season pass, and only up to 3 months later than the original date. If developers want to delay additional times or delay further out, they will have to speak with Valve first. If developers don't adhere to these rules, Valve says it may take action, such as removing the season pass from sale or refunding customers. This is not a massive change on its face, as it is definitely delayed season passes aren't exactly a plague at the moment, but these guidelines are spelled out publicly, offer some additional customer protection, as well as transparency requirements that will let people know what they're actually buying and when they should expect to receive it. In addition to these guidelines, the blog post also offers back-end guidance that may be helpful to developers trying to set up season passes for the first time.
My question here is that it's basically like, hey, we need to generally be more clear about season passes, or you open yourself up to letting people refund your game for disappointment of not receiving things they thought they would receive. And I think that's totally reasonable. I think that this just sounds like a good implementation of basically like, hey, we will punish you by making sure that consumers can't be screwed over by you. It doesn't sound like Steam is like gonna put super hard. Those aren't super hard line rules. It sounds like the punishment for not following them also is not something that is actually insanely detrimental to the developer if they intend for all the people who play their game to not refund it and like not want to get rid of their game. If you intend for people to keep playing your game anyways, I think that this punishment shouldn't be too worrying for you, because if people want to play your game, they can't refund it. So I think it's a generally great policy change. I think it's pro-consumer.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everybody, that's the news. I was going to go into what you've been playing this week, but I think we've run a little long as is. So I think we'll call it here. Thank you all for tuning in. You're all beautiful people, and we love you. And that's it. Thank you. Please like
RuneScape Leagues 3, November 27th, and like and subscribe.
Wait, what now?
RuneScape Leagues 3, November 27th.
All right. So anyway, like, subscribe, follow us on all the socials. We got a Blue Sky account now. You should go there. And bye, guys. We love you. See ya.